Pace as Devlin DiFrancesco and Louis Foster make their way to 3.
Yeah, those two do have good pace. DiFrancesco and then Louis Foster. About a 10-car length gap before you get to the leader, that's Ryan Hunter-Reay.
Yeah, it looked like Louis Foster was going to make the pass on DiFrancesco, but he held back, and so the lead now is about 10 for Hunter-Reay over Daly.
And again, these two running in 18th and 19th. How about the leaders behind them into turn 1?
Yep, that is Ryan Hunter-Reay. He's got about a 10-car length deficit to those two lap cars. Then it's Daly, then it's Malukas, then it's Palou in the short chute.
I think we're set for a shootout here on this final stint. Ryan Hunter-Reay, again, our 2014 champion. I don't think anybody would have thought he'd be leading this race. 8 car lengths over Connor Daly.
4 Americans in the top 5. The interloper is the Spaniard, Alex Palou, and then just behind him, a pair of Swedes. Actually, you have Santino Ferrucci, then a pair of Swedes behind him, and Rosenquist, and of course Ericsson.
Now, you really wonder about Alex Palou. He's had such a great year, and what this would mean to him, he's just sitting back there in 4th place.
Question is, with the disparity between 140 and 133, Hunter-Reay and Daly when they last stopped, will Ryan Hunter-Reay still come with the rest of that pack?
It can't be far away, I don't think, because, I mean, you kind of run the risk if you're too off sequence, you might run into some traffic with some other cars that have pitted. So, I mean, he's got a slightly better cushion, and he can definitely burn some more fuel here, so he's going to feel a little bit more safe. But I think in about 10 laps time, around lap 170, that's when we're going to look for these last pit stops to start occurring. And Ryan Hunter-Reay might push it another lap or two after the leaders, but I don't think he'll want to push it much more than that.
I'll tell you, it was a disastrous weekend, obviously, and a tough week for Team Penske. It's been a tough day for them. Newgarden's out, McLaughlin fell out early, and Will Power's done no better than 16th.
It's crazy to think that that's been Team Penske's fate, but again, even the owner of the series can't control the mother luck here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, so just incredible fate.
So, Jack Harvey's coming to the pit lane right now, and he's doing so on lap 161 with 39 to go.
Well, yeah, he's going to have to be in major fuel save to make it to the end, and if there's no yellows, I don't think it's physically possible to make it to the end there. He is definitely going to be banking on some yellow laps.
So Jack Harvey is making his way through the south end now while the field is coming off of turn number 4. So let's check in on Ryan Hunter-Reay, but the battle actually is between Daly and Malukas, the battle for second.
Yeah, Hunter-Reay has pulled a gap on Daly, and Daly's got company. David Malukas all over the rear wing in 2.
Yes, for Ryan Hunter-Reay, he's starting to catch Louis Foster, but Connor Daly has his mirrors full of that Chicago data. Oh, did David Malukas go wide at the exit of turn number 2, nearly tagged the wall.
So David Malukas will now try in the north end to draw a bead on Connor Daly. Not able to do so just yet. Daly a little more high exit of 3, but Malukas is right there at his tire tracks.
Yeah, that is David Malukas as he exits turn number 4. Daly has about a 3 to 4 car length advantage.
Whatever plans Jack Harvey had for his fuel strategy just went out the window. Too fast for the pit lane.
Yeah, he did. Pit speed violation, and now he's coming into the pits for his last pit stop. And I think the reason why we're seeing now Ryan Hunter-Reay sprint out is just because he does have that little bit extra fuel, whereas Connor Daly and David Malukas, Alex Palou, and the likes have to save a little bit of fuel to get themselves to that comfortable window around lap 170.
I'm unsure on balance right now. Unsure. But maybe quarter turn. Yeah, copy on that balance, but you're doing a hell of a job here. Fuel number is good. We'll get her fixed up here for the last one, and we'll fix the milk at the end.
More on Ryan Hunter-Reay from Ridge 9.
Yeah, something else he said on the radio just a few laps ago is no one wants to pass him right now. Everybody else sort of hanging back and trying to save some fuel. Ryan Hunter-Reay told me on carb day right after that fire, I don't know what we're going to do. Well, you're going to lead the Indianapolis 500 with 36 laps to go.
And Connor Daly has lost a couple of positions.
He has, and he's dropping like a rock. Not sure what's happened here. Is he running out of fuel? Because, yeah, he's been passed by 3 cars now on 1 lap. Connor Daly, this is disastrous. Not what you need here right before the last stop.
Connor Daly was putting himself in position to battle toward the end, and now he has lost a couple of positions, and it doesn't look like he's headed to the pit lane yet, Edgar.
No, it doesn't. He's trying to stay out, but I mean, these cars are passing him as if he's standing still. So he might be in major fuel save mode.
Nick Yeoman.
Felix Rosenquist got around him as well. So, Michael, that means Malukas, Palou, Ferrucci, Rosenquist all blowing right past Connor Daly.
he's going to get swallowed up this time through by number 70. Oh, check that, number 28, Marcus Ericsson. He goes down low. Looks like he may be coming to the pit this time as Marcus Ericsson swings to the outside.
And that means that Ryan Hunter-Reay now has David Malukas and Alex Palou pursuing him into 4.
Yeah, Connor Daly dropping all the way from 2nd to 8th. So problems for him, but he stays out on the track.
And it looks like Connor Daly has to check up, wants to get to the pit lane, and he was almost collected off of turn number 4, Anders Grove.
Oh, that was such a close call. And then Elio Castroneves came in right behind him as well. I wonder if there's a tire going down or something for Connor Daly because the pace dropped off so massively.
Ryan Marine.
Connor was really unhappy on the radio at the tail end of that stint. He told the team, I'm trying, but they have to bring him in with 34 laps to go. Here comes the AM/PM car for what they hope is the final stop. He was overall pretty happy with the balance until late in the running. Firestones are on, just waiting on the Shell fuel. No visible adjustments, and he's down and away.
Pato O'Ward, who we've not talked about much today, been running consistently in the top 10. He made his last stop a few laps ago.
Yeah, there we go. So Pato O'Ward, could he have a chance here to fight towards the end of this race? That's going to be an exciting one. And I think I got a quick visual. It almost looked like there were some cords on the right rear of Connor Daly's tire. So maybe he's overloaded that right rear, and that would certainly explain why the performance suddenly dropped off.
So things are getting interesting now over the last 33 laps of this race. Things really tightening up in the north end. That's where Ryan Hunter-Reay has a 0.3 of a second lead over David Malukas. Alex Palou is currently 3rd. Santino Ferrucci is 4th. Felix Rosenquist is in the 5th spot as they get across the start-finish line.
They'll head to turn number 1. Ryan Hunter-Reay, your race leader. David Malukas second, but noticeably missing mark is Alex Palou. That DHL car is on pit lane.
So Alex Palou comes to the attention of his crew. Let's go to Ryan Marine.
Here comes the winner of 4 of the first 5 races of the season. DHL, the sponsor. Alex Palou comes to a halt. His pit crew has been excellent all day. No changes on the race car for Alex Palou. It's a clean stop, 6.5 seconds.
Rob Blackman.
Bad stop for Santino Ferrucci. They had trouble getting a fueler out of the car. It slows him up. A disastrous 11-second stop for Ferrucci.
And Michael Young, keep an eye on turn number 2 because Alex Palou is coming off the pit lane while David Malukas is coming to the south end.
And David Malukas is way back, so another brilliant stop for Barry Wanzer and Alex Palou. He's already halfway down the back straightaway. Ferrucci will blend in right behind the number 4 of David Malukas.
Rich Nye.
Hunter-Reay in the pits. He stalled it now twice. The car is still dead here in the pits. Ryan Hunter-Reay, who had the lead for so many laps. What a story this car has been through the weekend, but right now is still sitting in the pits, and you can hear no engine sound. They can't get this car started. The 23 sitting in the pits, Brian Reinbold Racing, Cusick Motorsports. This car had a fire on carb day, and now it won't start.
And just like that, Anders Crone, a potentially promising day for that race team. Both their drivers have issues late in the race.
I'm just in disbelief and in shock, and I feel so bad for them as, what a strong comeback that's been as David Malukas is into the pits.
Ryan Marine.
David Malukas had a massive Freedom 100 crash at this speedway a couple of years ago, and he admitted it spooked him racing on ovals. Both of his career IndyCar ovals have come on podiums have come on ovals. It's a really good pit stop for the A.J. Foyt team. David Malukas has a shot to win.
And the question is, will he still have a shot to win? Based on the timing of the stop, Nick Yeoman, you'll call it first.
He has left pit lane. He is on the pit exit lane. Alex Palou is entering turn number 1. Michael, they're headed to you in turn 2.
David Malukas enters turn 2 on that exit lane, but Alex Palou has a full head of steam. David Malukas trying to get up to speed. Here comes Alex Palou down the back straightaway.
So Malukas now blends into the middle of the racetrack, but he knows that Alex Palou is at full speed, but Malukas is as well. Down along the white line now through turn number 3. It is David Malukas, 5-car length advantage on Alex Palou.
As they exit turn number 4, down along the white line, Malukas, a 5-car length advantage, but here comes Alex Palou.
What a stop by that A.J. Foyt team to get David Malukas out. He's trying to disrupt the air into turn number 1.
He's also trying to get some heat in those tires and hold off the IndyCar points leader. The advantage, 3 car lengths, Malukas over Palou.
And it's down to 3 car lengths, now 2 as they enter turn number 2. Alex Palou on a run, exiting turn number 2. Malukas extremely wide, exiting that turn. He's got it down to 1 car length. Does Alex Palou?
Alex Palou now is going to go onto the rear wing of of David Malukas. Keep in mind right now, this could be for the de facto lead as Palou tries to draw the bead. Still can't get there with David Malukas.
Malukas, AJ Foyt Racing. Palou with Chip Ganassi. A 4-car length advantage for Malukas.
Ericsson, Rasmussen, Lundgaard listed as 1, 2, 3. They have to make another stop. The leaders to turn wide.
Yep, right now it's the battle for fourth, but it will be the battle for the race lead. Malukas, 4 car lengths over Alex Palou.
So David Malukas trying to hold off the points leader. Alex Palou has never won on an oval. Could today be the day? Felix Rosenqvist back there, but has those couple of lap cars between he and David Malukas.
David Malukas' nickname when he came into the series was Little Dave. He's got to be big now because Alex Palou is right behind him. Palou's been in this situation before, but Malukas continues to shut the door through turn number 3.
Again, right now they're in 4th or 5th, but these are the true leaders. Malukas by 3 car lengths over Palou.
A couple of other cars in the mix. Foster and DeFrancesco, they're out of sequence as well, so that would put Rosenqvist and company up there with him, Nick.
Yeah, and Felix desperately wants to get around, but it's Pato O'Ward who just took him into turn number 1. Here comes Pato, Michael. He's charging back into the picture.
Pato O'Ward, the Mexican, trying to get himself back in the picture. He's all over the rear wing of Devlin DeFrancesco. He'll look to the outside as they head to 3.
This is so common, is it not, when all of a sudden late in the race, Patricio Pato O'Ward gets him on their feet as he works quickly around Devlin DeFrancesco into turn number 4.
Yeah, he got low. He got to the inside of DeFrancesco, so it's O'Ward trying to make a move. He has Palou in his sights.
Got down into the grass at the entrance to turn number 3, did Pato O'Ward, and he is on the charge into turn number 1.
My goodness, here comes the sport's most popular driver. Pato O'Ward is closing within 2 car lengths of Alex Palou in 2.
Can't believe he saved that car. He literally was 1.5 foot in the grass. Pato O'Ward now trying to run down Alex Palou. He's got it down to a car length. He'll look to the inside again.
How familiar is all of this down at the bottom of the racetrack? It is Palou into the inside of Malukas. Pato O'Ward just behind him as all 3 of them roar their way through the north end.
Again, right now it's only 3rd place for Palou, but when it all cycles, he would be your leader by 5 car lengths over Malukas.
And the leaders come off at turn number 4, and they will be the leaders eventually, Nick Yeoman, into turn 1.
Yes, because Marcus Ericsson just pitted, and they're going to blow past him out of turn number 2. Palou, Malukas, and O'Ward.
Well, we'll watch it, Marcus Ericsson. I don't know if they're going to blow by him. Marcus Ericsson's got ahead of steam. Alex Palou will catch him about the midway point of that back straightaway. Great pit stop for Marcus Ericsson.
Looks like a hornet's nest coming into turn number 3. Cars slicing and dicing all over the place. It's Ericsson with Palou just behind him. Then Malukas falling back just a little bit. Pato O'Ward.
It is car 28, that purple machine of Ericsson, who has a little bit of an advantage. 5 car lengths over Palou, another 3 back to Malukas.
Where did Marcus Ericsson come from, Andrew Strode?
I was just thinking the same about him and Pato O'Ward, 2 drivers we barely talked about all day long. Marcus Ericsson went long on the previous stop, had extra fuel to burn, and here he is at the front of the pack. Incredible.
Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Radio Network.
It's race day. WIBC, HD1, HD2, HD3, Indianapolis.
23 laps to go in the 109th Indianapolis 500. What an unbelievable set of circumstances in terms of pit strategy. It's Ericsson, Malukas, Palou, O'Ward, Rosenqvist, the top 5 as they set sail for turn number 1.
And I want to publicly apologize to Marcus Ericsson. I did not think he would get up to speed, but Michael, I shouldn't have doubted him. This guy's been one of the best drivers in Indy the last 5 years.
Of course, the winner back in 2022, and now dogging that rear wing of Louis Foster, who's trying to stay on the tail end of that lead lap. Marcus Ericsson has Alex Palou 3 car lengths behind him.
Marcus Ericsson had said if he wins the race, he's going to take the winners wreath to Gainbridge Fieldhouse for the Pacers' Knicks game tonight. He just might be able to do it, but still work to do, holding up Alex Palou.
Driving for Andretti Global, Ericsson, about a 5 car length advantage right now over Palou, then Malukas, then O'Ward.
DeFrancesco, Louis Foster, they're 17th and 18th, running in front of the leaders into turn 1.
And they are going to disrupt that air for all of those drivers, Michael, that want to get around Marcus Ericsson. He continues to lead into the short chute.
And that might stall this group from getting around those 2 tail end of the lap cars. Alex Palou still about 4 car lengths behind, then David Malukas starting to close on the rear wing of Alex Palou.
It is very interesting because of that lap traffic that we're talking about as Marcus Ericsson figures out how exactly to work it. decides to hold back just a little bit behind Louis Foster. That allows Palou to get right on the rear wing into 4.
Again, there is traffic in front. Is DeFrancesco and Foster. Then your leader, Ericsson, down the front straightaway.
Again, the top 2 cars running 17th and 18th as they head back to 1.
And they're running side by side into turn number 1. That has to be a little uncomfortable for Marcus Ericsson. He'll let them battle in front of him in the short chute.
Well, remember back in 2021, Helio Castro-Neves beat Alex Palou by using lap cars and that draft, stalling those cars out. Marcus Ericsson doing a great job, 4 car lengths ahead of Palou.
And again, Alex Palou going to try to take a look now as Ericsson is right on the rear wing of DeFrancesco. So Ericsson starting to get a little bit of bead away from Alex Palou into 4.
The laps are creeping away. Ericsson, again, is going to have some traffic to deal with here down the front straightaway.
20 laps to go this time by as Marcus Ericsson leaves the Indy 500.
And remember, a year ago, he barely made it into the field, then crashed on the opening lap in turn 1, got caught up in an accident. Oh, Michael, what a year makes for Marcus Ericsson.
And what a miserable year and a half it has been for Marcus Ericsson. Boy, what this would do to turn his fate this season around. Closes in on Foster. Foster looks to the outside of DeFrancesco.
Yeah, so Foster and DeFrancesco now go a little bit wide into turn number 3. Marcus Ericsson behind him, followed by Palou Malukas, then Pato Ward and Rosenquist.
Ericsson still has some room in front of him. That's DeFrancesco, but again, those are lap cars. Ericsson about a 7 to 8 car length advantage on Palou.
So it's Ericsson, Palou, Malukas, O'Ward, Rosenquist, Ferrucci, and Kirkwood back to turn 1.
And again, Devlin DeFrancesco pops to the outside of Louis Foster, then gets back in line. That continues to disrupt the air. Ericsson, Palou, and Malukas.
Oh, Marcus Ericsson has to think to himself, guys, just give me a break here. Ericsson gets a nice run out of turn number 2, starts to close in on that rear wing of Devlin DeFrancesco. Can he get around?
So we will see. Ericsson now pops high to the outside, and Devlin DeFrancesco shut that door. So, again, Marcus Ericsson, Palou right behind him.
Ericsson's lead about a half second over Palou, a full second over Malukas. He has the lead exiting turn 4.
DeFrancesco not making it easy for Marcus Ericsson down that backstretch. Can Marcus get a run into turn number 1?
Boy, he's going to have to look in the rearview mirrors because Alex Palou is all over the back. Palou, though, has to jump out of the throttle. Ericsson continues to lead out of 1.
So Devlin DeFrancesco gets around Louis Foster. These 2 cars trying to stay on the lead lap for Marcus Ericsson. Still a 5 car length advantage over Alex Palou, then David Malukas, 3 car lengths behind Palou.
Yeah, but you got to wonder if Palou in that DHL machine isn't planning for a late Sunday delivery because it looked like he had a run on Ericsson. Marcus Ericsson now, though, draws it out just a little bit. 5 car length advantage.
Ericsson started on the outside of row number 3. He'd like to be the winner. He's got about a 7 car length advantage on Palou.
DeFrancesco, Foster, 16th, 17th. Ericsson, Palou, Malukas, the top 3 into 1.
And all these drivers will tell you if you're 4th or 5th in line, oftentimes you're stuck. Boy, Alex Palou, Malukas, they're going to have to get up on the wheel here, Michael, in the final laps.
And Louis Foster, Devlin DeFrancesco keep swapping that spot. That has to make Marcus Ericsson want to lose his mind. Guys, don't lose it in front of me. Marcus Ericsson down to a car length behind DeFrancesco.
Very little wind now in the north end for the first time. The only breeze you feel that of these roaring cars going by. Marcus Ericsson with those 2 cars in front of him. Alex Palou now getting a little bit closer to Ericsson.
And Jake, what wind there is coming briefly out of the east as they're down the front straightaway. The leader is Ericsson.
16 laps to go this time by. Here comes Alex Palou.
He got a nice charge into turn number 1, closing within about 2 or 3 car lengths. Not enough, though, to get alongside Marcus Ericsson.
Marcus Ericsson, a 5 car length advantage over Alex Palou. Then it's the machine of David Malukas, Pato O'Ward, and Felix Rosenquist. They are your top 5.
The only that's running there up front that's not been in this situation before would be David Malukas, because Ericsson's been here. Palou has been here. So too has Pato Ward. They work their way between 3 and 4.
Honda power at the front. Ericsson the leader. Palou in second. Palou trying to hunt him down on the front straightaway.
Ericsson, Palou, Malukas, O'Ward, Rosenquist into turn 1.
There they come, setting up for turn number 1. They stay evenly separated. Ericsson by about 2 or 3 car lengths, really carving a nice line out of turn 1.
Well, you got to wonder if Pato O'Ward saving something for this last handful of laps, running in that 4th position. Still about 4 car lengths behind David Malukas. Marcus Ericsson sees those 2 back of the pack cars going side by side again.
Yep, right beside them again. you have Louis Foster and DeFrancesco. Then Erickson and Palou. Now they're single file through 3.
Yeah, you think at what point will Erickson catch DeFrancesco, who's that lap car, or just on the end of the lead lap here at Indy?
Alex Palou on the charge out of turn number 4 instead of turn 1.
This is as close as he's been. He'll take a look to the inside, and Alex Palou sneaks around Marcus Erickson. That DHL car takes the race lead.
And you wonder if that caused Marcus Erickson to have to check up, because Alex Palou has opened up a 5-car length advantage over Marcus Erickson, and now David Malukas trying to take over second.
As they work their way now into turn number 3, Palou knows he's got those 2 in front of him. Malukas trying to draw in on Marcus Erickson. Erickson shut that door. Palou the leader into 4.
14 to go for Alex Palou, the dominant IndyCar driver, winning 4 of the first 5, but can he win in Indy?
And he is getting some measure of separation from second place running Marcus Erickson.
Yeah, Marcus Erickson's got to worry about David Malukas, who closes right up on the rear wing, entering turn number 1. Palou's advantage over Erickson is 3-car lengths.
And he'll gap it now a little bit wider. 5-car lengths now for Alex Palou over Marcus Erickson. David Malukas about 5-car lengths back, as well as Pato Award. The top 4 make their way to 3.
In the parade, Tyrese Halliburton's jersey was worn by Alex Palou. He wore the jersey of the point guard. He's trying to guard the point right now. Alex Palou in first. Marcus Erickson 3-car lengths behind.
And they exit turn number 4. Palou has the advantage with 13 to go.
It's obvious Barry Wanzer told him to hit the button.
Oh, I mean, he completely caught Erickson by surprise. Erickson had kind of lifted off, trying to coast it into the corner, and Palou just popped so last minute into turn 1. That could very well be the race-winning move right there from Palou, because passing at this point in time is so difficult. So many marbles on the outside of the track, so that one move could have won Palou the race, as the 2 drivers ahead of them are fighting like it's the end of the race, and they're only 17th and 18th.
So it's Palou, Erickson, Malukas, Award, and Rosenquist, the top 5 at the 109th Indianapolis 500.
On this Memorial Day weekend, the NTT IndyCar Series and the Indianapolis Motor Speedway want to recognize the men and women who gave unselfishly to defend our freedom. We thank you for your service and sacrifice.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, cause you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things. People. Love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Miller Lite is brewed with great taste and only great taste.
The Miller Brewing Company would like to issue a correction. Miller Lite is brewed to be less filling. What are you doing here?
Miller Lite tastes great.
Look, I'm just reading the script. It says less filling.
That's not what my script says.
Well, mine said.
We'd like to apologize for the previous announcers. Miller Lite is in fact less filling and tastes great. Time to shine, legal guy.
Celebrate responsibly. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Beer. 96 calories and 3.2 grams carbs per 12 ounces. Fewer calories and carbs than premium regular beer.
I'm NTT IndyCar driver Connor Daly. Now stay tuned for the greatest spectacle in racing.
A retirement lifestyle that's vibrant, engaging, and tailored to you. Welcome to Westminster Village North, where active seniors find more than just a place to live. They find a place to thrive. Spacious apartments and beautiful walking trails, top-tier healthcare, and enriching activities. Independent living, assisted living, memory care, and healthcare available. Westminster Village North, where home is more than a place. It's a feeling. Call 317-823-6841 or go to westminstervillage.com to experience it for yourself.
Memorial Day is for honoring heroes. In Indy, it's also a day for celebrating the Indy 500. As the excitement of May grows, so do the temperatures outside. Indiana American Water reminds you to start conserving water. Just like a finely tuned race car, your home needs to run efficiently. Fix leaks, use water-efficient appliances, and do lawn watering early in the morning. Make this summer a season of savings and sustainability. Conserve water, save money, and enjoy a greener tomorrow. Happy Memorial Day and enjoy the race. From Indiana American Water.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan and 93 WIBC.
laps to go in the 109th Indianapolis 500-mile race, and the laps are winding down, Anders Crone, and right now Alex Palou is in command.
And it's just crazy to see how much more risks the drivers are willing to take now. They're inching closer to the walls on exit every single lap, and David Maluka's almost into the barrier as he exits turn 4, but manages to save it. Boy, oh boy, this is wild.
Leaders into turn number 1.
Yeah, it is time to hang it out to try to win the Indianapolis 500. Alex Palou still your race leader. Ericsson Malukas chase out of turn 1.
What have you saved for these final handfuls of laps? We've got Alex Palou. We've got Marcus Ericsson, David Malukas, Pato Award. They'll battle it out to the bitter end as Alex Palou has a 2-car length advantage over Ericsson.
And again, Palou has 2 cars in front of him, Louis Foster and Devlin DeFrancesco, trying to stay on that lead lap. Will that check him up? No problem so far. He goes into turn number 4.
Yeah, and again, as he exits turn number 4, he has those 2 cars in front of him. About a 5-car length advantage on Ericsson. Another 5-car lengths down back to the third-place driver, Malukas.
And again, those cars are 16th and 17th, Nick Gilman.
Alex Palou is using them, too, using the draft to try to pull that gap. He maintains it over Ericsson into 2.
That's what cost him in 2021. What did he learn from Elio Castroneves? What does Marcus Ericsson have in his bag of tricks? Still 2-car lengths deficit for Marcus Ericsson over Alex Palou.
28-year-old Alex Palou's birthday is April Fool's Day. This guy has been flat no joke here in the IndyCar Series, trying to get his first Indianapolis 500 win. He works his way into turn number 4.
And again, out of 4, that lead is about 3-car lengths, and then another 3-car lengths back to third.
5 laps to go in the 109th Indianapolis 500-mile race.
Michael brought up that 21 race. Alex Palou was running second when Elio caught lap traffic. It stalled out Palou's chance. He's on the other end of it here, Michael, with 5 to go.
We say if you're third in line, you really don't have an opportunity to pass. Let's see what Alex Palou can do. Can he hold off Marcus Ericsson? Doing a great job of it as the field goes low down into 3.
So is Marcus Ericsson just setting things up with Alex Palou. Palou now at single file as he works his way in front of Ericsson, then Malukas, then Pato Award about 5 car lengths behind that.
And again, it's Palou. He's got the 2 cars in front of him, 5-car length advantage out of 4, and then another 5-car lengths into third place.
4 laps to go this time by as Alex Palou points into turn 1.
He'll watch those 2 cars ahead of him go side by side. Louis Foster sweeps around Devlin DeFrancesco. 3rd car in line, though, trying to win it Indy. It's Alex Palou.
And this time he gets a nice run on Devlin DeFrancesco. Again, those are the cars in the back of the field. Alex Palou closes it down to 2 car lengths. Marcus Ericsson's there as well.
And Marcus Ericsson now right on the rear wing of Alex Palou as Palou's going to pop to the outside. But when he does so, he has the door shut by Devlin DeFrancesco. That allows Ericsson on the rear wing.
Yeah, not a lot of room to breathe for Palou. Ericsson just now a couple of car lengths back in second. Another 5-car lengths back to Malukas.
Palou thought about a move into turn number 3 to get around those slower cars, and he lost some ground, but did he lose enough?
Oh, he's going to hold off Marcus Ericsson once again in turn number 1. In fact, he opened it up a bit this time. 4 car lengths over Ericsson.
And Marcus Ericsson gets a nice run out of turn number 1. He'll close it down to 2 car lengths as they exit of turn number 2. Trying to catch Alex Palou with just 3 laps remaining in the 109th Indianapolis 500.
If Marcus Ericsson has it within him to go, the go time is now. Alex Palou is trying to hold him off. Just a 2-car length advantage. Alex Palou holding off Marcus Ericsson.
Palou trying to get something that Ericsson has. That's a win at Indy. Out of 4, a 4-car length advantage.
Good strong run for that pack off at turn number 4. They'll head to the start-finish line, and Alex Palou has opened up the advantage.
They all sweep to the inside of the racetrack. Barcelona, Spain's Alex Palou in that yellow and red car. Strong out of turn 1 with a lap and a half to go.
To twist a lyric from the Grateful Dead, what a long, strange race this has been. Alex Palou, 4 car lengths over Marcus Ericsson. David Malukas there in third.
So Alex Palou knows that he's just got to get 6 more clean turns, but Marcus Ericsson is right there if there's a mistake. So too David Malukas and Patricio Award. Alex Palou in turn number 4.
It is a 3-car length advantage for Palou over Ericsson. Out of 4, down the front straightaway.
And the white flag is in the hands of Aaron Likens. It's the white flag of the 109th Indianapolis 500.
Alex Palou sweeps underneath that white flag and darts his way into turn number 1. Running a pretty line. Ericsson, though, charging into the short shoe.
Never before has a Spaniard won here in Indianapolis. Could today be the day? Alex Palou, 4 car lengths, goes below the white line. Marcus Ericsson, 2 car lengths away.
Alex Alex Palou is doing everything he can to hold off Marcus Ericsson as he works his way through turn number 3. Ericsson's right on the rear wing. Alex Palou, one turn left, but Ericsson's not going to let him get away.
It is a 3-car length advantage for Alex Palou out of 4.
And we have caution on the race course. Caution on the race course. And he is going to take the checkered flag. Alex Palou with caution on the course takes the checkered flag. Alex Palou wins the 109th Indianapolis 500 here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. How about the end of that one?
Unbelievable. What have we seen here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway? Alex Palou, picture perfect, man. Absolutely incredible.
And we have a car in the wall that belongs to Nolan Siegel. Tough end to a long day for Nolan Siegel. Let's go to Ryan Marine.
Celebration is on. The Chip Ganassi Racing crew, led by Chip himself, exchanging hugs, exchanging high fives. Barry Wanzer called a beautiful race. He's the IndyCar team manager. He was given the Robin Miller Award earlier last week on Carb Day, in fact, for contributions to the sport. The celebration has commenced, and this one's going to go for a long, long time. Alex Palou has won the Indianapolis 500.
He takes the Advanced Auto Parts checkered flag, and he is a winner on an oval, and it is the big one.
It really is the big one. And as we talked about, with about 15 laps to go, he made that one super decisive move on Marcus Ericsson. And we mentioned that might have been the winning move, and indeed so. When you have traffic in front, it's so difficult, so passing comes at an absolute premium. He made the most of it. He made it stick.
Let's take it around to our turn announcers one final time today. Great job as always, Nick Yeoman.
I appreciate that, Mark. This is the coronation for Alex Palou. He has been so incredible over the last 4 or 5 years. We're talking about a 3-time IndyCar Series champion. The stats are absolutely incredible, but that one glaring box that he needed to check was right here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Michael Young, one of the best in IndyCar, is now a new Indy 500 champion.
Yeah, we are certainly witnessing something very special here, not only with this team, Barry Wanzer and Alex Palou. They have been on a streak we haven't seen in decades. A very tough hit for Nolan Siegel at turn number 2 on that last lap. He hit hard right underneath me. We have several safety vehicles around that car. We'll make sure that Nolan Siegel's okay. But Jake Query, what a race today, and for a guy who had never won on an oval before, what a way to get your first oval victory here at the greatest race course in the world.
Alex Palou is a native of one of the great cities in this world, in Barcelona, Spain, but he now calls Carmel, Indiana home. A new father, Alex Palou, at 28 years old, and I got to tell you, when he came by here on the victory lap, there was a rousing ovation. This is a popular victory for this young man. And all I have to say now to the people in turn number 3, a pleasure and an honor to share it with you all once again. And now, let's go Pacers tonight against the New York Knicks. Kristen Airy?
Thanks so much, Jake. You mentioned that Alex Palou was wearing a Tyrese Halliburton jersey at the parade. And we've got the Racers and Pacers, and a great way for me to go out as Alex Palou celebrating with his team a terrific win from a most dominant performer. And it's been a pleasure and an honor to be with you guys through all these years, and great to see Alex Palou win the Indianapolis 500.
And we must say, Kristen Airy, well done as always over the last 26 years with this network, and you'll always have a home at the Sid College booth. So congratulations on an amazing run in turn number 4 here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Alex Palou takes the Advanced Auto Parts checkered flag. He wins the 109th Indianapolis 500-mile race. Marcus Ericsson, what a call by that crew and their pit strategy put him in contention late. He finishes second. What a day for A.J. Foyt Racing. David Malukas finishes third. Santino Ferrucci, 7th. Pato Award, a late comer, comes home in 4th. Felix Rosenquist gets a top 5. Kyle Kirkwood, 6th. And Christian Rasmussen, Christian Lundgaard, and probably one of the most disappointing guys in the place has got to be 10th place Connor Daly. He had a car that was in contention late.
Oh, for sure, yeah. He was so strong all day long. But I'm looking down the pit lane right now, and Marcus Ericsson absolutely just beside himself, so upset that he didn't get the job done there. He was 100% in contention to do so. But to your point, Connor Daly just had that handling issue with the car there before the last pit stop. Dropped enough positions to the point where it's almost impossible to drive your way through as competitive as the field is today.
Now let's hear from Marcus Ericsson. Rob Blackman.
Tears, emotion, sadness, disappointment, it all is on the face of Marcus Ericsson right now. Talk us through not only your emotions, but that battle with Alex Palou in the end.
It was tough. Second time finish, second here, and it hurts, It's, team did a really good job. We were, out of it and in the back, and we kept fighting, and that Allegra car was really good there in the end, so, and I came out in the lead and then, lost it, so it's just painful, very painful.
Marcus Ericsson, second place in 2023 and a runner-up finish in 2025. Let's go to Rich 9. David Malukas getting a hug here from the team. Third place finish, David. How does that leave you feeling? How exhausted are you after this run today?
Yeah, I mean, we did everything right. I mean, the guys, the team, they did an incredible job, and man, it's just bad timing at the end there, and they got us, and we tried to get that set up to where it needed to be on that final run, but never been in that final situation before, so we kind of made a guess with the wing. Look, I'm really happy. It was an incredible run for us. Really had it, but I don't know, it's obviously at the same time, and man, it was right there. So an incredible job from the whole team, Clarence Technology, Foyt guys, but yeah, we missed out on that end there. 3rd and 7th for this team. That's a pretty strong finish in Indy. Yeah, I mean, I was looking the whole time, and I saw the 14 car also up there. It was like P3, P5 at times. So, I mean, it goes to show these guys really care for this, and I mean, they did an incredible job. We were cutting everybody off in the pit stops. I mean, these guys were on it, so just feel bad. I kind of feel like I left them down on that final run, but yeah, a lot of positives to take away. Congratulations, Alex Wolf.
Felix Rosenquist ends up in the 5th position, and how was your run with the Creed wagon?
The Creed wagon was really quick, man. It was a good race. We had 2 restarts when we lost a lot. We kind of just got stuck on the inside. Had some really good restarts as well. Then I kind of got pinched behind Harvey. He was slow, and then I lost like 2 cars. Then Devlin didn't do us any favor, as per usual in the last stint. But everyone kind of went through the same thing, and we were kind of hanging in the same group. It was hard to pass, and I feel like we were probably a bit quicker than the guys in front, but I felt like I was just risking the car every corner to try to get a run, and I wasn't even close to get around Pato. So that's kind of what we had. We started 5th, finished 5th. As much as I'm disappointed for having the opportunity to win, I'm super proud of my group, the 60 car. I feel like we did a masterclass execution there, good pit stops, good strategy, and that's what we need for the rest of the season.
It was a great month of May for the 60 car, and we'll see you in Detroit.
Thank you.
That's Felix Rosenquist, 5th place finisher. Over to Rob Blackburn.
7 races in the Indianapolis 500 for Santino Ferruccio. He has been in the top 10 all 7, and that includes today a 7th place finish. Santino, first things first, we were listening to you on the radio most of the race. You kept talking about the right side pod. Something was wrong with it. Your team couldn't figure it out. What indeed was slowing you down there, if anything?
Yeah, obviously we had a Zeus clip break, and it lifted the side pod, and it broke 2 more, and we tried to fix it, and one of the yellow flag stops with tape. Tape just blew off. Honestly, I have no idea how my outside front guy, Steve, got a bolt in there and twisted it on, and we didn't lose much track position at all. But honestly, our Homes for Troops car was really quick all day. Battled a lot of adversity, so just one of those things, man. It's Indy. Just drove it hard all the way to the end. Can't complain with that. So just not our day.
And your strategy down the stretch was superb. With more than 100 laps to go, I heard you guys communicating, saying we're going to do this in 2 more stops, and you did.
Yeah, I mean, I think we had a game plan. We stuck to it. Like, the car was great. I actually didn't do much adjustments inside the in-car. We didn't add any front wings, so I was pretty happy with that. And all in all, I can't ask for something better than that. Crew did phenomenal. Engineering did phenomenal. I think we had a little bit of a bobble at the last stop, but happy to be back inside the top 10.
Yet another top 10 finish for Santino Ferruccio.
And more of our post-race festivities when we come back.
Start your engines, race fans. At Advance Auto Parts, our lineup of free services is like having your own local pit crew. Make Advance your next pit stop, and we'll test your battery for free and install a new DieHard battery with purchase. We also have free oil recycling, wiper installation, and more. Visit us. Use the Advance Auto Parts app or buy online. From the starting line to the checkered flag, Advance will help you get the job done. Advance Auto Parts is the official aftermarket automotive retail partner of the NTT IndyCar Series.
This is how we advance.
At Firestone, we build tires for getting you out there. Durable tires for ticking off mile markers and for getting to your seats on time.
Start your engines.
Dependable tires for kicking up dirt or for passing on the outside. Hard-working tires for racing 500 miles and the side hustle that affords you first row. But don't take our word for it. Try them for yourself with a 90-day buy and try guarantee. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone. Conditions apply. See firestonetire.com/warranty for details.
This is NTT IndyCar driver Alex Palou. Stay tuned for the greatest spectacle in racing.
State leaders are calling for cutting-edge infrastructure and new technologies to keep Indiana moving forward. The Indiana union construction industry has been a fundamental catalyst for growth in the Hoosier economy for over 100 years. In partnership with contractors, our industry makes an investment of more than $63 million a year in construction training, with no cost to taxpayers. Through on-the-job training and classroom instruction, our tradesmen and women learn skills and earn degrees, making them the skilled workforce employers count on, and the best value for your next construction project. The Indiana Union Construction Industry. Value on display every day.
I'm Jeff Wheeler, business manager of the International Brotherhood of Electric Workers, Local 481. Our highly trained members include electricians, communication technicians, manufacturing, sign, motor, racing, and casino workers. Our members are skilled on principle and union by choice.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan and 93 WIBC.
You just won the Indy 500, man. Awesome job. Good job. Let's go. Yes! Yes! Thank you, guys. You guys are amazing.
Not bad for a first oval win. Alex Palou has a stranglehold on the points championship, leaving the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. He has already amassed 305 points. He leads Kyle Kirkwood by 118.
It's just shocking how strong Alex Palou is, and just when it looks like the race is complex enough to where it's going to throw a curveball and you're going to have a surprise winner, there's Alex Palou, and he just is picture perfect every single time. Always knows when he should push the boundary. He did it that one time to get by Marcus Ericsson, but outside of that, car was never at risk. He is just too perfect.
In the battle for the Manufacturers' Championship, Anders, ended up being a really good day for Honda. They finished first, second, fifth, and sixth. Chevy settles for third and fourth. That lead is now 547 to 426.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even say that was indicative of kind of the outright performance. It was just kind of where the pieces fell towards the end of the race. So that gap, in my opinion, should be a little bit closer than what it is. But here they are yet again, Honda taking advantage of Alex Palou and Chip Ganassi Racing just being absolutely perfect.
And we hope to hear from our winner when we come back to the world's greatest race course.
This is Alexander Rossi. Congrats to the voice of the 500, Mark Janes, on celebrating 30 years with the IMS Radio Network.
At Indy, the difference between winning and losing is measured in milliseconds. Will Scott understands the importance of a good start. Our mobile offices, storage containers, refrigerated units, fabric structures, fencing, and overhead canopies provide the flexible, scalable solutions you need. Fast delivery and special pricing will have your site up and running at top speed. Serving North America with over 5,000 local experts across 250-plus locations, we have the solutions and scale to support all your project needs, big or small. Will Scott will get your space ready to go right from the start.
Miller Lite is brewed with great taste and only great taste.
The Miller Brewing Company would like to issue a correction. Miller Lite is brewed to be less filling. What are you doing here?
Miller Lite tastes great.
Look, I'm just reading the script. It says less filling.
That's not what my script says.
Well, mine said.
We'd like to apologize for the previous announcers. Miller Lite is in fact less filling and tastes great. Time to shine, legal guy.
Celebrate responsibly. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Beer. 96 calories and 3.2 grams carbs per 12 ounces. Fewer calories and carbs than premium regular beer.
The 109th Indianapolis 500 is history. Relive all of the excitement of the greatest spectacle in racing with your own copy of this year's radio broadcast. Go to IndyCarRadio.com and click on Historical Indy 500 Broadcasts. You'll find nearly 75 years of classic Indy 500 broadcasts from the IMS Radio Network. Go to IndyCarRadio.com to own a piece of Indy 500 history.
Now, stay tuned for the greatest spectacle in racing.
During much of Indiana's history, communicating on the telephone with the deaf or hard of hearing was nearly impossible. Friends and loved ones couldn't stay in touch, so the hard of hearing became isolated. Today, those with hearing loss have equal access with a captioned telephone from Relay Indiana and can keep their independence. Relay Indiana allows a caller to read what the other party is saying. This advanced technology keeps Hoosiers connected so that everyone can contribute to Indiana's productive future. Learn more at RelayIndiana.com.
I'm Dennis Reinbold for Driver & Reinbold BMW, Infiniti, and Mini at I-465 in Keystone, and Driver & Reinbold BMW, Infiniti, Subaru, and Volkswagen at US 31 South in Greenwood. For 56 years, we've been working hard to earn your continued business and grow within our communities we support. That's why we offer competitive lease or purchase options and same-day service appointments for your convenience. See all our great selection of new, quality, pre-owned vehicles at dryreinbold.com.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan and 93 WIBC.
Let's go to Victory Lane and Ryan Marie.
The winner's wreath around his neck. He's already had a sip of 100% whole Indiana milk, and now a kiss to his daughter. Alex Palou, the dream season continues. You are a three-time champion, but from now on, you will be introduced as an Indy 500 winner. Congratulations.
It's amazing. It's much better than I thought it was going to be. The amazing feeling once I crossed.
Disfrutar y comprender mejor el maravilloso espectáculo.
He said he could never consider. Team ownership Ganassi.
Indianapolis Motor Speedway coverage is brought to you by the Indiana Union Construction Industry. Value on display every day.
Does your child have access to quality activities like clubs, arts, and sports? Your child is not stuck where they are. You and your child have options. Your child could get a voucher worth approximately $6,000 for tuition at a private school. For real, over 75,000 Indiana kids already have. Many kids thrive with the high standards, small class sizes, and more individual attention at private schools. Don't settle for less when it comes to your child's education. Make a choice. Make a change. Visit myschooloptions.org. That's myschooloptions.org.
Paid for by the Institute for Quality Education.
Hey race fans, this is Tim Wicker, president of Electric Plus. When it comes to commercial electrical work, new construction, facility upgrades, or routine maintenance, our team brings the horsepower to get it done right. We deliver top quality results with the skill and speed you'd expect from a winning crew. And now, as an employee-owned ESOP company, every team member is fully invested in crossing the finish line with you. Visit our website at electricplus.com to see how we can take care of your electrical needs.
This is Indy. Ready for next May? Race to Renew is on. Indy 500 ticket renewals are open for the next 500 hours. Lock in your current seats by June 16th and secure the lowest prices. And be first in line for upgrades. Details at IMS.com. This is passion and drama. This is history and tradition. This is Indy, where heroes become legends and legends become legendary.
Post-race coverage of the 109th running of the Indianapolis 500 is brought to you by Quality Supply and Tool in Indianapolis, Bloomington, Jeffersonville, and Lafayette. QualitySupplyandTool.com. Think outside the box. Store.
From the Hensley Group Race Command Center, which for us is the third floor of the media center, now I wouldn't say a vacant, but where traffic is outbound, not inbound, Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Traffic centered around Alex Palou. Was he dominant today? No. But did he have the right car at the right time and make the decisive move to win the race? Yes, he did. Alex Palou has won for a fifth time in 6 races this season. It is the best start in the modern history of the IndyCar Series. We frankly documented this list on Grand Prix weekend. He really is in contention for the best single series in the history of North American open wheel racing. If you say from World War II on, Alex is having that level of a start. He is already a 3-time champion. Frankly, he is nearly guaranteed of being a 4-time champion, and that'll be not the dominant topic, but certainly one of the key ones, because as is always the case, there are 33 different storylines we can be talking about. Greg Rakestraw, Kurt Darling, John Herrick, we are with you until 7 o'clock on The Fan, 8 o'clock until or on 93 WIBC. Fellas, let's start with the start of the race, because, again, it hasn't looked like previous Indianapolis 500s. It hasn't looked like any other race this season. Kurt, this was kind of a race because of the rain delay at the start, because of the cold track temperatures. This wasn't 1992, but it kind of had that feel early in the day.
It certainly did. I mean, you had Scott McLaughlin pulling what was basically the same thing as what happened with Roberto Guerrero back in 1992, when the tires were cold, the temperatures were cold, the track was cold, and so the drivers couldn't get the temperature in their tires to get the grip that they needed, and it was as simple as that. Scott McLaughlin was simply trying to warm up his tires and just couldn't quite get the temperature that he needed to get there, and he ended up crashing. And so it was very unfortunate for him in that regard. And then the same thing with that opening lap crash with involving Marco Andretti and Marcus Armstrong as well. So it was certainly a tough start to the race, given the weather, the conditions, and who was all involved. But still, it made for many different and compelling storylines that would set up what ended up being a really interesting day.
Marcus Ericsson, who finishes a runner-up for a second time in 3 years. He has been top 1 or 2 in 3 of the last 4 Indianapolis 500s. He is at the podium. Let's hear from the Swede right now.
Nobody likes to finish second here, but it's a good result for the team. Good momentum going into Detroit next week.
Yeah, no, I'm really proud of the Allegra team. You know, we've really had a good month, a really good, solid month, good qualifying weekend. This race was a bit strange. We started off really strong. I felt really comfortable the first part of the race, and then my car went really oversteery. I was really hanging on and sort of struggling to keep up with anyone, I felt like, and we had to make a ton of changes, and then we had a bad pit stop that dropped us right to the back of the field. At one point, we were last on the lead lap, so it was like really looking like a bad day, but that's the cool thing with us and with the 28 crew. We keep fighting. We keep, never giving up, and we just keep fighting through, and that's what we did today. We just kept fighting. I had some really good, stints there in the second half of the race when I felt the car came more to me and, put us back in contention. And then that last stop was really good call on the strategy as well. So I'm really proud of that fight back, and of course, that's the thing. Second is a good result, but here it's not a good result. Here you got to win. So, yeah.
Right. Alex Gins, frontstretch.com. Marcus, this looked like a track position race outside of the restarts. What was your experience in the cockpit? Was it the lap traffic that was causing the problem, or was it the nature of following another car in these conditions in general?
I think both. Yeah, it was tough in traffic, and my car, like I said, was a bit tricky to drive. in the sort of traffic. But yeah, it was difficult. It's difficult when you sort of fight for the win and you have two other cars there that's sort of in front of you, and it's just, it's a bit tricky for sure.
We talked about the lap traffic.
Obviously, Marcus Ericsson would like to have finished one spot better, but frankly, Marcus had only been in the top 10 one time this season. Just the success he had at Chip Ganassi Racing had not followed him over to Andretti Global just yet. He had a second-place finish at Detroit last year, couple of top fives. So the fact that he was in contention, that was a big leap forward because, unfortunately, for none of the other Andretti cars really even had a sniff of a potential race win today. Marcus Ericsson, if he's still talking when we come back from our next break, we will bring you back to that Marcus Ericsson post-race press conference. You will hear from Alex Palou, Chip Ganassi, Barry Wanzer, and others throughout the course of the show. Again, you're not heading to Speedway right now. You're only exiting Speedway right now. With further proof of that, let's go to WIBC traffic.
Eastbound 70 break, and yeah, it is eastbound 70's fine here. Eastbound 16th Street, however, in front of the Speedway is, as you expect right now, we're stopped from the roundabout. Now, once you get to Tibbs Avenue, okay, like you're going towards Indianapolis, once you get to Tibbs, it starts to open up from there, all right? So you do have salvation. Looking at northbound Lafayette Road, slow around Cold Spring Road, pockets of slow up to 38th Street. That's not awful at the moment. So we're talking about getting out of Speedway. This includes 10th Street, looking at the westbound direction, and that's jammed up from Rochester Avenue through Polko on out to Castle. And then you start to stop again on 10th going westbound after Lyndhurst Drive to 465. Getting into Speedway, that's hard too right now because we have a lot of exit ramps closed that surround Speedway on 465, I-65, 38th Street, northbound, southbound, just to name a couple. Also, the northbound one going to Crawfordsville Road, we have exit ramps that are closed into Speedway to limit the traffic there. Now, on the southwest side, I told you about a crash. That crash is cleared on southbound 465 at Kentucky Avenue, so once you make it to 465, you are gone. Traffic sponsored by Sullivan Hardware and Garden, just in time for Memorial Day at Sullivan Hardware and Garden. See their great selection of grills, Weber, Traeger, and Napoleon, along with the Big Green Egg and Gosney Pizza Ovens. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Hey, it's Marco Andretti. When you hit the pump, make a better choice for your wallet and the environment. Fuel up with an Indiana Corn ethanol blend. Unleaded 88 contains up to 15% ethanol and can be used in virtually every car, while that yellow cap or Flex Fuel logo means you can grab the E85 pump. No matter which one you choose, you are lowering the greenhouse gas emissions and your bill to fill. So next time you get to empty, choose an ethanol blend for your refill. Find a station at incornandsoy.org/ethanol. This message is brought to you by Indiana's corn farmers and their checkoff.
In the construction business and tired of dealing with the indifference of big corporate suppliers? Quality Supply and Tool on South Harding Street understands. For over 25 years, owner Kevin Ane has had a different approach.
We at Quality Supply and Tool take pride in being a locally owned family business, committed to service. And every customer's needs are different, and we truly believe in shaping our business to our customers' needs. That's what separates us from the competition.
That's Quality Supply and Tool with additional locations in Bloomington, Jeffersonville, and Lafayette to serve Hoosiers better. Partner with Quality Supply and Tool and think outside the box. Store.
I'm Dennis Reinbold for Driver & Reinbold BMW, Infiniti, and Mini at I-465 in Keystone, and Driver & Reinbold BMW, Infiniti, Subaru, and Volkswagen at US 31 South in Greenwood. For 56 years, we've been working hard to earn your continued business and grow within our communities we support. That's why we offer competitive lease or purchase options and same-day service appointments for your convenience. See all our great selection of new quality pre-owned vehicles at dryreinbold.com.
Dear driver, thank you. Thank you for slowing down when you saw the orange cones and road construction signs. My husband is one of those road workers. And today, you saved his life. If you hadn't slowed down, you would have missed that lane change, driven right into the work zone, and you would have killed him. Because you were driving differently. He'll be at our son's Little League game this weekend. He'll be there to walk our daughter down the aisle. He'll be out there tomorrow, making Indiana's roads safer. Thank you.
When driving in a construction zone, be smart, be alert, be in the zone.
This is Ray Hobbs, business manager of Labor's Local 741. Everyone deserves a safe place to work. Do your part in the cone zone. Slow down, save a life. We're all in this together.
A message from Indiana's District Council of Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
Mow like a pro with Spartan zero-turn mowers and Performance Power Sports of Indiana. Performance Power Sports of Indiana carries the full lineup of Spartan mowers with professional-grade DNA and rugged USA-made reliability. From the backyard to the back nine, every turn, every hill, and every pass is delivered with perfection when you trust Spartan to handle the job. Go to PerformancePowerSportsIN.com to see the inventory or stop by the showrooms in Frankfort and Whitestown, Zionsville. Performance Power Sports of Indiana, your one-stop shop for outdoor adventure. Your Indiana Farm Bureau insurance agent is here to help guide you through the process, so you don't have to go it alone. Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Let's insurance together. Don't miss country music icon Dwight Yoakam with special guest The Mavericks live Thursday, June 5th at Everwise Amphitheater at White River State Park. Tickets at livenation.com.
Just in time for Memorial Day at Sullivan Hardware and Garden, see their great selection of grills, Weber, Traeger, and Napoleon, along with the Big Green Egg, plus Gosney Pizza Ovens.
Post-race coverage of the 109th running of the Indianapolis 500 is brought to you by Quality Supply and Tool in Indianapolis, Bloomington, Jeffersonville, and Lafayette. QualitySupplyandTool.com. Think outside the box. Store.
Welcome back from the Hensley Legal Group Race Command Center. Post-race coverage continues on 93 WIBC at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Alex Palou is your winner. You just heard from the runner-up finisher in Marcus Ericsson. A third-place finish for David Malukas. It is his third top-3 finish in 45 races in his career. He's run 3.5 seasons in the NTT IndyCar Series. He is at the podium now. Let's listen in.
Fair. I think it's an AJ Foyt car. I mean, those are the guys that are working on it, and it's the AJ Foyt team. So, no, all the credit goes to AJ Foyt, and that's what I'm driving. That's what's on my suit.
Jack? David, does it feel like this has been a bit of a breakthrough event for you, or do you just feel like this is the kind of the best car you've had so far at the Speedway, and maybe that's the kind of explanation for the result today?
I think, I mean, it's for sure. I think it's a little bit of a breakthrough. This is, third time here, but kind of 3.5 seasons, fourth season. I don't know how you put that, but I mean, I've definitely matured a lot since the last time I've been around here. But I think on top of all of it, it's an incredible car. I think we've always had the maximum success that we could out of the cars, but I mean, everything lined up for us from the team to the guys. Everybody just did it.
de Malukas.
Go ahead, sir.
Ben Scobie, Trinity Echo. Do you think that the yellow flag at the end kind of threw you off a little bit?
I mean, not really. I think we all kind of. Are you talking about the one right at the end, like the checkered flag?
Yes, sir.
No, because that was like we were coming out of turn 4, so there wasn't really much left to it at the end there. I mean, that was kind of, it was going to be the end. But yeah, it was more leading up before that when we filtered back out after the last pit stop is where things kind of got out of our hand, where the two lappers came in and Palou was able to just time a run and sneak behind them and able to take their toe and obviously get his lucky win there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right behind you
there. James Krause, Journal Gazette. The start to this race was sort of all over the place. You had the delay, you had the McLaughlin crash before you went, started recording laps. You've recorded some laps under yellow. You have the Andretti crash. You have rain. How hard is it to get into a rhythm, especially for a 500-mile race with that kind of a start? And when did you finally feel that you and in general, most of these guys started to settle in?
Yeah, actually, I think the rain delay in the beginning helped us. We were having some fitting issues, so that rain delay kind of gave us time to get things sorted out. But after that point, man, before the race even started, I had to pee so bad, and all these delays, it just made it so much worse. I just kept thinking about it. And then finally the green flag dropped, so I was able to focus on the race, and immediately it was caution again. So I'm like, man, we need to just go. I'm going to piss myself in this car. So, yeah.
I love the honesty. That's good.
Thank you.
Jack? Don't really know how to follow that. Yeah. Can you maybe put into words what it means to you to have this result today, just in terms of everything that you've gone through over the past sort of 2 years? The journey that you've been on has been pretty incredible, and I imagine, today feels like a turning point, or just at least, something really good to happen to you after a pretty difficult time.
Yeah, I mean, this past year that I've had has been the toughest year, I think, of my life, really. It was a lot of different emotions, roller coasters, and if I look back 1 year ago today, I mean, I wasn't even in IndyCar anymore. I didn't have a left hand, and I was up here in the media center just being a fan. And now, as I could say 1 year later, that I'm back in the 500, and not just back, but I'm fighting for the win, which was it's incredible to say. And it's been an insane year. I mean, it's always going to be a year of maturity for me. I've aged. Well, that was a year. I feel like I've aged 10. So everything happens for a reason, and I've taken all this knowledge and everything I've learned in this past year and hardships, and gonna put it into more success in the future.
It's time for one more for David.
David, kind of talk through from a team standpoint. Santino kind of started off the month pretty slow, trying to find that balance in the car. You were pretty solid all month long. Kind of talk through how 2 top 10s kind of builds up morale for the team.
Yeah, like I said, I think from a season as a whole, we've had so many unfortunate events, and they tend to topple, and morale is such a big deal when it comes to team unity and having performance out of it. And we were just in a very unfortunate spots, and things just kept not really going in our favor, and it was really kind of putting everybody down. But this month was very, very necessary for us. If we just look outside of the 500 and the championship, we really needed this, and I think it's going to be a big turning point for the team and for everybody. That we can be there and things can go our way if we just have some luck. So the morale is very high in the team. I mean, even though we still P3, but man, it's an incredible time. So many things can go wrong in that race, and everything went forward for us, and the crew did an insane job on the pit stops. The engineers, an incredible time, and gave me a great car, and strategists were on point. So a lot of positives to take out of it, and we're gonna push it into results for the rest of the season.
Again, that is David Malukas after today's race. Again, we'll bring you Alex Palou, Chip Ganassi, Barry Wands, or any of the drivers they may have. But I know that those people that I just mentioned, they will be hearing from them at some point in time. Greg Rakestraw, Kurt Darling, John Herrick. To add some context, because, again, I realize, there are fans of the Indy 500 kind of like C&E Christians once or twice during the course of the year, and that's it. So for those that don't follow the series the way kind of the three of us do and talk about it on a regular basis, David's only 23 years old. He turns 24 in September. B, he was with Arrow McLaren at the start of last year, got injured before the first race. His injury recovery for a wrist injury took longer than expected and did not run in the Indy 500, and then was quickly out of a job. He finished the year with Meyershank Racing and landed the A.J. Foyt seat that Stingray Robb had last year, that opposite Santino Ferrucci. As far as the team is concerned, he's right. For example, David's best finish on the year was 13th. His best finish here in 2 previous events was 16th. So a lot of the way around, this is a big deal, not just for David, but Santino Ferrucci does it again. Top 10 Tino is back, his 7th 500, and he finishes 7th. He has been top 10 every time. Again, I realize when you're driving for A.J. Foyt, winning's the thing, but again, it is, John. It's a good day for A.J. Foyt Racing.
Yeah, I mean, I understand David Malukas' frustration, but I didn't really think he would be much of a factor in this race. He was starting pretty far down, in the past, and he ends up starting 7th this time, and then all of a sudden he's up in the 3rd position. I understand the notion that he says he aged a lot, but the reality, like you said, Rake, he still has his whole career in front of him, and he might still be hobbled by this wrist injury a little bit. You don't know. This is a thing that takes a while to recover from, and for him to get a 3rd place finish in the Indy 500, again, I know it's not what he was hoping for, but he still has to be very proud of that, because 2 years ago he was 29th. That's how he finished, and the year before that he was 16th, and then in between those things an injury was sandwiched in between it. So he's got to feel very good about this performance.
The thing that struck me in terms of the way that the race played out, we're going to hear from Chip Ganassi coming up in a couple of moments, who is at the podium now. But those guys that kind of had sneaky good qualifying performances last Saturday and Sunday, other than Robert Schwartzman, they consolidated those today. Malukas and Erickson being 2nd and 3rd, again, they were fast 12 guys. They were guys in the front 3 rows. It paid off for him.
Yeah, absolutely. You have Malukas up there as well, Marcus Ericsson starting 9th, and, of course, Felix Rosenquist starting 5th, all of them in the top 5. So, to your point, Rake, it was a very good performance for those guys who maybe weren't exactly competing for a pole, but were still sleepy fast, so to speak, and that certainly plays into what they were doing.
There was some case of Alex Palou and some other guys competing for a race win by the time we got to the final 50 laps. Let's quickly go to the podium. We'll get a couple of minutes of Chip Ganassi for our next time out. He is now a 6-time winning Indianapolis 500 team owner. Here's Chip Ganassi.
A little bit.
I mean, I think he's one of the greats. It's that simple. And certainly, we've had some great drivers on our team, and he's right there at worst, shoulder to shoulder with all, the rest of them. With, you gotta talk about, Franchitti and Montoya and Dixon and all the champions we've had, Vassar and Zanardi, and it just adds to it. Ericsson won here with us, it's just a great thing. Yeah. He's clearly in that group now. Clearly. Yeah.
Bob Pockrass.
Bob Pockrass, Fox Sports. Did you ever get the feeling that the fact he hadn't won on an oval was starting to get in his head at all? And is there anything that he did today that you felt like he didn't do previously on an oval?
Bob, I don't, where are you, Bob? Are you living here? Thank you. I'm sorry. Yeah. I really didn't look at that as much. He could have won Nashville last year, I thought, and he didn't have to, and so he kind of rolled out of that one. So I think, I coming from my perspective, I didn't put much into that just because the circumstances. I'm a little closer to the circumstances than most of you are in terms of what's going on in the team, and that was going on, what was going on that particular day or whatever when he didn't win on an oval, and I didn't put much in that, so I don't, and here when winning at Indianapolis is this race is won more like a road race as opposed to a short oval, so I think in terms of the strategy and how you plan out this race and map it out, it because it's a longer track, 2.5 miles. When you look at distance and time in and out of the pits and what have you, it's so way different than an Iowa or a Milwaukee, in terms of how you run the race strategy.
Those other race wins for Chip Ganassi: 2000, Juan Pablo Montoya; 2008, Scott Dixon; 2010 and 2012, Dario Franchitti; 2022 being Marcus Ericsson. He ties Andretti Autosport for second. Obviously, everybody has some ground to cover in terms of catching Roger Penske and Team Penske, who is sitting on 20 Indy 500 race wins. There was not a repeat for them this year, which meant no three-peat for Joseph Newgarden, which will be an obvious storyline we will get to at some point in time. Here's a pretty obvious storyline, too. Traffic's probably not good. For further confirmation of that, here's WIBC.
Yeah, you got a. We're looking at eastbound 16th Street, and as you can imagine, from the track out to Tibbs Avenue, it's really bad right now, barely moving. But once you get to Tibbs Avenue, it starts to open up a little slow spot around Kessler, and then again at White River Parkway, and we're stop and go to Riverside Drive. But again, you start moving a lot better once you get to Tibbs Avenue. Now, West 10th Street, I'm looking at eastbound lanes heading away from the track, and yeah, we're going to be stopped from Main Street to Holt Road, and then again over to Tibbs Avenue. Speaking of Holt Road, look at the southbound lanes, and that's going to be slow from Eagle Creek down to Rockville Road, and Rockville Road itself is jammed up from Gasoline Alley over to Lyndhurst Drive in both directions. That's a tough sled right there. Checking out going to Brownsburg, back home again in Brownsburg. Westbound 74 slows after Raceway Road out to Ronald Reagan Parkway. Northbound 465, that is slowing down from 38th Street up to 56th Street, and then we have a stop-and-go situation as you make that exit from northbound 465 465 to northbound 65. Southbound 465, stop-and-go traffic, 10th Street past Rockville Road. If you're trying to use the interstate getting into Speedway, lots of exit ramps are closed. They want to limit the congestion the best they can. In Speedways, people leave the Indianapolis 500, so you may want to use the city or the side streets to get into Speedway here this evening. Traffic sponsored by Sullivan Hardware and Garden. Just in time for Memorial Day at Sullivan Hardware and Garden. Get 30% off all patio furniture, wicker, Berlin Gardens poly, cast aluminum, teak, and more. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
My name's Craig Landers. I'm a union laborer for Local 120, and I'm a member of the Veterans Steering Committee and been retired for 7 years.
For members of the Laborers International Union of North America, giving back is part of their commitment to the Indy community.
I like to help veterans and family downtown. Part of the building burnt down that housed the veterans that lived there. So we donated money to help out. They lost everything they had. I mean, they didn't have much. They lost what they did have.
When the Indy community needs help, LIUNA steps up.
People bring in clothes and shoes and food. We had a couple of car shows and donated the proceeds to the Veteran Suicide Prevention.
This is Chris Brickey, Business Manager of Labor's Local 120. While all our members are skilled, highly trained men and women, we are also your friends, neighbors, Little League coaches, and volunteers here in Indy.
Pretty good to help them guys out. And that's a good feeling to help people out.
We build Indy for good jobs and stronger communities. We are LIUNA Local 120.
I'm David Peterson, CEO of ERMCO, one of the largest and fastest growing contractors in the Midwest. We are currently seeking qualified applicants for construction electricians, system technicians, and experienced construction account managers. At ERMCO, we provide a challenging yet friendly environment where you earn a good wage with great benefits and a solid retirement. Plus, you get the opportunity to work on some of the most interesting projects in Indiana. Learn more at ERMCO.com, a quality connection contractor, quality work, customer connected.
I was driving to my sister's house, and it happened just like that. The guy apparently had been on the phone and just wasn't paying attention. I got 2 bars and 6 screws in my neck now. For the 6-day hospital stay and the 2 surgeries was over $300,000. I just had my husband call Hensley right away. They took care of everything. It definitely happens. So just hire Hensley.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Put the pedal to the metal and drive your axe to Twin Peaks for the 500. Start your engine with sauced and tossed wings and stay fueled for all 500 miles with 29-degree drafts and handcrafted cocktails.
BJ Nichols and 6-time IndyCar champion Scott Dixon.
Scott, you know watches and race cars have a lot in common. Both are engineered for precision and built to perform.
Exactly. And when it comes to watches and jewelry, I trust the experts at Reese Nichols to deliver the same excellence I expect from my pit crew.
From race-ready watches to designer jewelry and stunning diamond rings, we've got it all.
And at Reese Nichols, I can count on gifts that will always take the checkered flag.
From start to finish, we've got you covered. Reese Nichols Jewelers, Keystone at the Crossing, Greenwood, and at ReeseNichols.com.
This is Indy. Ready for next May? Race to Renew is on. Indy 500 ticket renewals are open for the next 500 hours. Lock in your current seats by June 16th and secure the lowest prices. And be first in line for upgrades. Details at IMS.com. Passion and drama.
Debris everywhere.
History and tradition.
Showtime is now.
This is Indy, where heroes become legends.
Alex Palou wins the 100 Indianapolis 500.
And legends become legendary.
Would you know if someone you love was having a stroke? Franciscan Health is here when minutes matter. Like knowing when to be fast. Recognized by Health Grades as Indiana's #1 provider for stroke care, Franciscan Health Indianapolis wants you to know how to spot the signs and lower your risk for stroke. Because time loss is brain loss. Protect yourself and those you love today. Learn more at franciscanhealth.org/stroke care.
Every day deserves Sunlight. Sunlight Cream Ale from Sun King Brewery is the perfect local beer for any occasion. Smooth, refreshing, and brewed for moments big and small. Check out sunkingbrewery.com.
Don't miss country music icon Dwight Yoakam with special guest The Mavericks live Thursday, June 5th at Everwise Amphitheater at White River State Park. Tickets at livenation.com.
Every day deserves sunlight. Sunlight Cream Ale from Sun King Brewery is the perfect local beer for any occasion. Smooth, refreshing, and brewed for moments big and small. Check out sunKingBrewing.com.
Post-race coverage of the 109th running of the Indianapolis 500 is brought to you by Quality Supply and Tool in Indianapolis, Bloomington, Jeffersonville, and Lafayette. QualitySupplyandTool.com. Think outside the box. Store.
I want to thank Jack Johnson, our studio engineer. Thanks to Scott Johnson, the brains of the operation, our entire engineering staff. It is a technical marvel that we kind of bring to you on a regular basis. Was about to throw back to Chip Ganassi, but his post-race press conference just ended, so we'll go back to the press conference room when and if we see Alex Palou. That will probably be some time. If there's anybody else that is able to jump on there, we will carry it with you. If not, I think the three of us can carry the conversation. The three of us would be Greg Rakestraw, Kurt Darlick, John Herrick. Interact with us on social media if you want to. For example, Brandon asks me, hey, who wrecked on the last lap? Wasn't even acknowledged besides showing the car from far away. That'll be Nolan Siegel that had the last lap accident that brought out the yellow flag literally kind of as they were going through turn 800 of the race. Alex Palou is the winner of the 109th running of the Indianapolis 500. With you until 7 o'clock on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. That's turn it over for Pacers coverage for Eastern Conference Finals game number 3. First JMV at 7. Then it is Mark Boyle, Pat Boyle, and Eddie Gill at 7:30. We will stay with you until 8 o'clock here on 93 WIBC. We heard from Chip Ganassi. Kurt, let's start with that. We were, as the final 25 laps were unfolding, we're kind of checking various storylines, just kind of talking out loud and saying, all right, let's make sure we got our facts straight and et cetera, and talking storylines. But as I said going into the part of his press conference we covered, Chip now has won 6 Indianapolis 500s, and he and the Andretti Autosport team, which has kind of gone through 2 or 3 different now ownership stakes in terms of their 500 wins. But now Chip is tied for second in terms of most 500s won.
Exactly, Greg. Of course, you talk about that as well. He now moves ahead of Lou Moore, who was an owner back in the 30s and 40s, and now tied with Andretti Autosport, or whatever iteration of that team has since been since 1995 to, of course, now here in 2025. But you talk about how Chip Ganassi Racing has really been one of the dominant teams in the sport of IndyCar racing, yet the Indianapolis 500 has been somewhat of an Achilles heel for this team. Of course, you have Scott Dixon, who won it back in 2008, and then, of course, Marcus Ericsson, who won it for them in 2022, and they had that successful run with Juan Montoya as well in 2000, but still, they've never really been able to be consistent with that success, not as consistent as their rival Team Penske, who, of course, has won almost two dozen Indianapolis 500s, 20. So you talk about how everything works out for this team in particular with Chip Ganassi Racing. They bring in the right people, the right drivers, and Alex Palou as well. But still, it's interesting to see how they've only been able to win 6 in a time where they've been dominant everywhere else. But it's still cool to see how they really kind of get over that hump with Palou.
There's a lot of people who are saying only 6. Only 6. 6 is pretty good from 2000 until now. By the way, for that Andretti group, let's kind of explain the lineage there. Team Green won it with Jacques Villeneuve in 1995. Andretti Green won it with Dan Weldon in 2005, and then Dario Franchitti in 2007. Andretti Autosport won it in 2014 with Ryan Hunter-Reay, then Alexander Rossi 2016, and then in 2017, Takuma Sato was driving an Andretti car back then. So again, kind of a couple of different names, but all one continuous team. So again, that is the moniker that is there. All right, let's talk about the Chip Ganassi car that didn't win today, John. Not Kiffin Simpson, although he was part of a crash at about the midway point of the race. But this is one of the few races at the 500. Even though he has only won 1, we're talking about Scott Dixon in contention usually in every race. There was an early brake fire. He started the race on time, had to come back in, took 3 laps to fix, continued to run, and through attrition, I'll check, but it's probably 21st or 22nd would be what he finished. But, John, for one of the rare times in the 20-plus times he has run this race, Scott Dixon was a complete non-factor today.
Yeah. and in finishing 23rd is what was really frustrating for him. And I had a feel, we all kind of think that Scott Dixon's going to just bounce back, but to have a problem like that early in the race, I did not think was a very good sign. And it was also, and again, once you get even one lap down, it's really hard to do that. And before you knew it, he was 2 laps and 3 laps, and it was a little bit surprising to see him be such a non-factor, but it's also kind of the nature of Indy. And we've seen this happen with Scott, where he will either have a really good qualifying run and then race day doesn't go his way, or he has a really good qualifying, he doesn't have the greatest qualifying run, but then race day goes a little bit better and you think he might finish, but then something happens. There's a pit issue. There's an issue with his fuel or whatever it may be. It just hasn't lined up for Scott Dixon for him to do it. And then on top of that, you've got a lot of these other talented drivers that are coming up. You've got Alex Palou, who's been very consistent. You've got other guys in front of Scott Dixon in the IndyCar series that have been solid, like Kyle Kirkwood, for example, who's second in the series standings behind, Alex Palou now. So it's not that Dixon is doing really anything wrong. It's just luck has not been on his side. There's more talented drivers in the field, and it's just been a lot of things working against him right now.
Here's how good Scott Dixon has been. He's 5th in series points coming in. We kind of go, hey, what's wrong with Scott?
Yeah.
When you're a 6-time champion. Mm-hmm. Here was the one accomplishment that Scott did get today. When he took the green flag, he now has the most starts in the history of any iteration of the IndyCar series. Today was his 408th start in kart, then IndyCar, passing Mario Andretti, who had 407 starts during his long and illustrious career. So nobody has run more races than Scott Dixon has. Now, the other question I'm going to kind of get into that is an offshoot of a question that we heard Chip Ganassi being asked. Where do you kind of put Alex Palou on the litany of great Chip Ganassi drivers? That team in some form or fashion now has been around for about 35-ish years. Scott Dixon cast a long shadow. Alex Palou and Dario Franchitti are probably the two guys that emerge from it. Again, Palou has, and it's crazy to say this, a third of the way through the season, Palou's going to win his 4th series title. It's almost a mathematical certainty at this point because of the lead that he will have going in the next race in Detroit. We'll talk more about Palou. We'll talk more about Ganassi, talk more about everybody else and everything that did and did not happen today at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But right now it's time for the latest, and I'm sure the greatest, check-in with Matt Baer in WIBC traffic.
What's happening, Ray? Looking at the Speedway traffic leaving Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Yeah, 10th Street is totally bottled up right now from Main Street on over to Tibbs Avenue. After that, it starts to open up a little bit. Same thing with 16th Street. Yeah, we're stopped from the roundabout out to Tibbs Avenue, and then you hit pockets of stop-and-go traffic from Kessler on over to Lafayette Road. And Lafayette Road southbound lanes is a mess, as you expect. It is going to be from West 34th Street all the way down to 16th Street. Where it's 16th Street, Lafayette Road, and White River Parkway Drive. So traffic to make as you go on Lafayette Road in that southbound direction. Southbound 465, a crash at Rockville Road. It's on the right shoulder. We already had traffic there and backups. Now we're stop and go back to West 21st Street. Northbound 465, that's going to be slow from 74 up to West 56th. And the exit from northbound 465 to northbound 65 slow as well. Northbound 465 northwest side stop and go traffic from 86th Street up to 865 as people make their way up to the 865 ramps from the Speedway, and then southbound 6570 stop and go traffic Washington Street into the South Split. Traffic sponsored by Sullivan Hardware and Garden. Just in time for Memorial Day at Sullivan Hardware and Garden. See their great selection of grills, Weber, Traeger, and Napoleon, along with the Big Green Egg plus Gosney pizza ovens. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
State leaders are calling for cutting-edge infrastructure and new technologies to keep Indiana moving forward. The Indiana union construction industry has been a fundamental catalyst for growth in the Hoosier economy for over 100 years. In partnership with contractors, our industry makes an investment of more than $63 million a year in construction training, with no cost to taxpayers. Through on-the-job training and classroom instruction, our tradesmen and women learn skills and earn degrees, making them the skilled workforce employers count on, and the best value for your next construction project. The Indiana Union Construction Industry. Value on display every day.
Hi, I'm Brian Fisher, business agent of UA Local 669 Sprinkler Fitters. This message has been brought to you by the proud members of Road Sprinkler Fitters Local 669, protecting your home, schools, workplace, and property since 1950. The proud members of Road Sprinkler Fitters Local 669.
Let's talk education. Is your child's school providing them with the knowledge and values they'll need in life? Do you worry about what they may be taught in the hallways and even in the classroom? Do you feel like they're safe when they go to school? What about things other than just academics? Is your child's school supportive of your family's beliefs? Your child is not stuck where they are. You and your child have options. You could get a tuition voucher worth approximately $6,000 to attend a private school. Over 75,000 Indiana kids already have. Many kids excel with the high standards, small class sizes, and more individual attention provided by private schools. Don't settle for something that doesn't feel right. You don't have to choose between your values and their education. Make a choice. Make a change. Visit myschooloptions.org. That's myschooloptions.org.
Paid for by the Institute for Quality Education. This is Indy.
Get ready, Greeners. Here he comes, Alex. Come on.
Ready for next May?
Start your engine.
Race to Renew is on. Indy 500 ticket renewals are open for the next 500 hours. Lock in your current seats by June 16th and secure the lowest prices. And be first in line for upgrades.
Details at IMS.com.
Passion and drama.
Debris everywhere.
History and tradition.
Showtime is now.
This is Indy, where heroes become legends.
Alex Palou wins the 100 Indianapolis 500.
And legends become legendary.
It's JMV from Moyer Fine Jewelers. Here's the deal. You can't make a mistake at Moyer. If you want the best diamond, Moyer is the place to go. They're the only natural diamond store in the city with the highest quality, hand-selected diamonds and the best prices around. When you're ready to find the ring, Moyer's got you covered. Go see my friends at Moyer Fine Jewelers just north of 146th Street in Carmel or at MoyerFineJewelers.com. That's MoyerFineJewelers.com. Moyer Fine Jewelers in Carmel. Will you Moyer me?
Dear driver, thank you. Thank you for slowing down when you saw the orange cones and road construction signs. My husband is one of those road workers. And today, you saved his life. If you hadn't slowed down, you would have missed that lane change, driven right into the work zone, and you would have killed him. Because you were driving differently. He'll be at our son's Little League game this weekend. He'll be there to walk our daughter down the aisle. He'll be out there tomorrow, making Indiana's roads safer. Thank you.
When driving in a construction zone, be smart, be alert, be in the zone.
This is Joe Bulk, business manager of Labor's Local 204. Everyone deserves a safe place to work. Do your part in the cone zone. Slow down, save a life. We're all in this together.
A message from Indiana's District Council of Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
The biggest party on dirt is back at Eldora Speedway, July 16th through 19th for the Kings Royal and High Limit Jokers Jackpot. Buy your tickets today at EldoraSpeedway.com. The biggest party on dirt is back at Eldora Speedway, July 16th through 19th for the Kings Royal and High Limit Jokers Jackpot. Buy your tickets today at EldoraSpeedway.com.
Just in time for Memorial Day at Sullivan Hardware and Garden, see their great selection of grills, Weber, Traeger, and Napoleon, along with the Big Green Egg, plus Gosney pizza ovens.
Post-race coverage of the 109th running of the Indianapolis 500 is brought to you by Quality Supply and Tool in Indianapolis, Bloomington, Jeffersonville, and Lafayette. QualitySupplyandTool.com. Think outside the box. Store.
From the Hensley Legal Group Race Command Center, continued post-race coverage now on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan, not to mention 93 WIBC. Again, we are with you until 8 on WIBC, at 7 o'clock on The Fan. We'll kick it over to Pacers coverage for Eastern Conference Finals game number 3. Pacers at Knicks, with the Pacers having a 2-0 lead and returning home to Gainbridge Fieldhouse tonight. A guy that I like a lot, But as a Knicks fan, should have known better today. Scott McLaughlin, not from the pole, he was last year's pole setter, but had unfortunately, the only way to describe it, a Roberto Guerrero-like moment on the pace lap, trying to keep the tires warm. Spins, hits the inside wall, does not start the race. He will finish 33rd, kind of indicative of what May was for the entire Team Penske organization. We will frankly expand that further when we have more time. But, John, I'll start with you. Just the jarring nature of seeing a car that a lot of folks thought had a chance to win the race, and obviously was the only of the three Penske cars that was not hamstrung by being in the back row, and his car does not make it to see the green flag today.
Yeah, I mean, it just encapsulates everything he went through. I mean, qualifying, he has the issue in practice where he crashes, and then today he starts off on the pace lap. I can't remember the last time. Well, I guess 92, but I was 5 years old then. So, I can't remember any other time where something like that has happened on the pace lap. And the image I will have of Scott McLaughlin from this race, Greg, is him just getting out of the car and putting his head in his hands and running his fingers through his hair going, what just happened? Because you do have to feel for a driver who works incredibly hard, whose team works incredibly hard, to try to rebuild something and get to a point where you're running in the race, and then it all just evaporates right in front of you before you can get to lap one.
Again, no tech fail for Scott last week because he already had his issue, and that being the crash that he had in practice. They did not, I like to even try to put it together. I knew they really didn't have time to do it for the Fast 12. He was going to start 12th. Both of his teammates get sent to the back row. He moves up to 10th, but again, his finish is in 33rd, and it was kind of indicative of what the day was going to be to come for Team Penske.
Yeah, it was, because you had the day start off with Scott McLaughlin, and then Joseph Newgarden had that excellent run to get up to as high as P6 from the back row before he himself had a fuel pressure issue, and then Will Power on top of that just not really being able to get up and be a factor in the race. But you're right, Greg. It's indicative of what was the entire month of May for Team Penske, who are normally very dominant in this particular race. And for McLaughlin in particular, you hit the nail on the head with the Roberto Guerrero comparison, and it really it sucks in that regard, because it's just the only thing that is not exactly the apples to apples thing is the fact that he didn't do it from the pole position like Roberto Guerrero did, and not to mention the green car as well back in 1992. But still, Scott McLaughlin, it was just a simple, just trying to warm up the tires. We were only 3 degrees warmer than the green flag in 1992, and we took the green flag here today. So lots of similarities with the cloud cover, the track temperatures, you name it, and unfortunately Scott McLaughlin was just the one that had to dance a little bit too far with Lady Luck this time.
I would say this, the wind chill significantly better today. It was cool for the day. We weren't talking wind chill factors the way that we were some 33 years ago. Obviously, Newgarden's story is different. His car had moved into contention before it then went away. We will kind of run down those that had crashes, those that had mechanicals, and again, that changed the storyline of this race numerous times. An indication how so? Of the 33 cars that ran today, we had 14 different lap leaders. We'll talk more Team Penske in the next hour of the show, but again, the team that merits conversation is the team that won the race, that being Chip Ganassi and their driver Alex Palou, and we will hear from him at some point in time in our post-race coverage as well. Back with more in a moment. First, here's more traffic. Once again, Matt Baer.
All right, Rick, we're looking at the west side, and southbound 465 is almost jammed here. Bad traffic running from Crawfordsville Road down to Rockville Road. That's because of a crash in the right lane. Yes, we do have a hit southbound 465 at that Rockville Road exit. Northbound 465 on the west side is stop and go right now, 74 up to West 46th Street. And again, northbound 465 bad on the exit to northbound 65. Northbound 465 in Pike Township, stop and go traffic, 86th Street up to 865. If you're heading for the north split, you crash now southbound 65 before West 21st Street. That blocks the left lane and jams up traffic back to MLK, just like rush hour. Southbound 65 slows from West Street to Meridian. Penn southbound 65 stop and go traffic from Washington Street down to the south split. Everything around Indianapolis Motor Speedway is what you expect right now. If you're heading out on eastbound 16th from the track, that's jammed jammed up to Tibbs, and again from Kessler Boulevard over to Lafayette Road, then to Riverside Drive. If you're on 10th Street right now, that's going to be slow heading towards Indianapolis from Main Street on out to Tibbs Avenue. Westbound lanes, stop and go. Kind of a grind right now. Main Street over to Lyndhurst Drive, and again after Lyndhurst over to 465. Traffic sponsored by Sullivan Hardware and Garden. Just in time for Memorial Day at Sullivan Hardware and Garden. See their great selection of furniture. Wicker, Berlin Gardens, Poly, Castle, Lubin, and Teak and more. Patio furniture at Sullivan Hardware and Garden. Get 30% off. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
State leaders are calling for cutting-edge infrastructure and new technologies to keep Indiana moving forward. The Indiana union construction industry has been a fundamental catalyst for growth in the Hoosier economy for over 100 years. In partnership with contractors, our industry makes an investment of more than $63 million a year in construction training, with no cost to taxpayers. Through on-the-job training and classroom instruction, our tradesmen and women learn skills and earn degrees, making them the skilled workforce employers count on and the best value for your next construction project. The Indiana Union Construction Industry. Value on display every day.
I'm Ron Moore, business agent for Cement Masons Local 692. We form, pour, and finish floors, sidewalks, roads, and curbs. It is a skilled craft and a rewarding career. We are now accepting apprentices and journeymen who are up to the challenge. Learn more at tlcm692apprentice.org. Skilled on principle, union by choice.
Memorial Day is for honoring heroes. In Indy, it's also a day for celebrating the Indy 500. As the excitement of May grows, so do the temperatures outside. Indiana American Water reminds you to start conserving water. Just like a finely tuned race car, your home needs to run efficiently. Fix leaks, use water-efficient appliances, and do lawn watering early in the morning. Make this summer a season of savings and sustainability. Conserve water, save money, and enjoy a greener tomorrow. Happy Memorial Day and enjoy the race. From Indiana American Water.
The construction industry in Indiana has depended on Quality Supply and Tool, a local family-owned business, to deliver quality sales and service over the last 25 years. The employees make the difference, like sales expert Nick Worley.
What sets us apart is we only offer quality tools and supplies from quality manufacturers. We have a quality-trained sales and service staff knowledgeable of the products we sell and offer. Quality. It's in our name.
On South Harding Street in Indy, plus Jeffersonville, Bloomington, and Lafayette, Quality Supply and Tool thinks outside the box. Store.
911, what's your emergency?
Por favor, necesito ayuda. Está volando y creo que me va a pegar otra vez.
I will get someone to speak with you. Please stay on the line.
Hola, tengo su ubicación. Ayuda está en camino.
Getting past a language barrier is critical when first responders help Hoosiers. That's why the State 911 Board provides special tools for non-English speaking citizens to communicate with emergency services.
Si estás en peligro, aunque no hables inglés, podrás recibir ayuda en una emergencia rápidamente.
All Indiana 911 centers began offering translation services in over 240 languages in 2019. Now, people can send text messages for help in their native language to 911 and receive a translated text back from the dispatcher. It's of great help to the deaf and speech impaired and to those in select dangerous situations.
Cuando llame o envíe un texto al 911, un servicio de traducción se asegurará que entiendan lo que está diciendo.
For more information, visit in911.net.
Gracias.
911. Before you text, voice is best.
We build Indiana. The Laborers International Union of North America are men and women building roads and bridges to get Hoosiers where they're going today and a new energy infrastructure that will keep Indiana competitive tomorrow. LIUNA's over 12,000 statewide members also grow local economies, earning good union wages, shopping where they live and work, and paying taxes. We build Indiana for good jobs and stronger communities. The Laborers International Union of North America. We are LIUNA.
I'm David Peterson, President and CEO for ERMCO, electrical systems and automation contractor for major projects such as the Indiana University Medical School and the new Fishers Event Center. While we're known for these landmark projects, companies of all sizes depend on ERMCO for their preventative maintenance, emergency repairs, and energy management services. Regardless of the type or size of your project, you deserve quality and integrity. You deserve ERMCO, empowering people, inspiring innovation. ERMCO is proud to be a Quality Connection contractor, quality work, customer connected.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Put the pedal to the metal and drive your axe to Twin Peaks for the 500. Start your engine with sauced and tossed wings and stay fueled for all 500 miles with 29-degree drafts and handcrafted cocktails.
It's race day. WIBC, WIBC HD1, HD2, HD3, Indianapolis.
Thank you so much for joining us from the Hensley Legal Group Race Command Center here on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan, 93 WIBC. Our month of May coverage, at least for today, is wrapping up. All of our shows on The Fan will air tomorrow. That is in part because not just the 109th running of Indianapolis 500, but also Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals, which is also why our coverage will end from the track at the top of the next hour as we shift into Pacers mode with you for 2 more hours in total on 93 WIBC. My name is Greg Rakestraw, joined by Kurt Darling, joined by John Herrick. Alex Palou is the winner, a first-time winner on an oval, a first-time winner at the Indianapolis 500, a fifth-time winner since the start of March. He has won 5 of the 6 races in the NTT IndyCar Series. The one that he didn't, he was second. Slacker. Palou makes the decisive pass to win the race with 14 laps left to go. Goes to the inside of Marcus Ericsson. And again, you had the 2 about-to-be-lapped cars, but who were fighting to stay on the lead lap of Louis Foster and Devlin DeFrancesco of Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan Racing. And because they were fighting to stay on the lead lap, they were not obligated to get out of the way. And frankly, Alex Palou used that aero draft to help save enough fuel to go 32 laps on his last stint to be a first-time winner of the Indy 500. You may hear some cheers that are going on outside of our broadcast location. That is because Alex is interacting with the fans outside as we speak. We expect that we will hear from Alex at some point in time this hour. Until then, myself and Kurt and John will carry the conversation. But a guy that has no problem carrying a conversation, especially when it comes to the 465 dial. One more time, it's Matt Bear with WIBC Traffic.
All right, Rick, look at this stuff. I got to start on 65 here because this is a problem going into the North Split as people try to make their way out to Hancock County or Ohio, wherever else they're going. Southbound 65 before 21st Street. It is a crash blocking the left lane, and it is causing stop traffic back to MLK. So southbound 65 interrupted as you make your way down to the North Split. Should only add 9 minutes to your time there. And southbound 465 on the west side, like you're leaving Speedway, crash clear at Rockville Road. That is a very good thing. Still jammed up from Crawfordsville Road down to 10th Street. That is traffic left over from the crash and, of course, Speedway traffic. Now, northbound 465 coming down the Speedway. That is stop and go from 74 Crawfordsville up to West 56, and that exit from northbound 465 to northbound 65 is loaded up as well. If you're trying to get into Speedway using 465, that's probably not happening. Most of these exit ramps are closed to limit congestion into Speedway. Same thing with westbound, eastbound 72 Holt Road. Those ramps are shut down, so you might have to use Harding or go on down to the South Split. Now, Holt Road itself is loaded up as you make your way to that entrance ramp. It's going to be slow Oliver Avenue down to I-70. Westbound Rockville Road heading towards Hendricks County. That is a mess after Holt Road and continuing over to Lyndhurst Drive, and still not a lot of room as you make your way to the 465 ramps. Traffic sponsored by Sullivan Hardware and Garden, just in time for Memorial Day at Sullivan Hardware and Garden. See their great selection of grills, Weber, Traeger, and Napoleon, along with the Big Green Egg plus Gosney Pizza ovens. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Dear driver, thank you. Thank you for slowing down when you saw the orange cones and road construction signs. My husband is one of those road workers. And today, you saved his life. If you hadn't slowed down, you would have missed that lane change, driven right into the work zone, and you would have killed him. Because you were driving differently. He'll be at our son's Little League game this weekend. He'll be there to walk our daughter down the aisle. He'll be out there tomorrow, making Indiana's roads safer. Thank you.
When driving in a construction zone, be smart, be alert, be in the zone. This is Joe Bulk, business manager of Labor's Local 204. Everyone deserves a safe place to work. Do your part in the cone zone. Slow down, save a life. We're all in this together.
A message from Indiana's District Council of Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
I'm Dennis Reinbold for Driver & Reinbold BMW, Infiniti, and Mini at I-465 in Keystone, and Driver & Reinbold BMW, Infiniti, Subaru, and Volkswagen at US 31 South in Greenwood. For 56 years, we've been working hard to earn your continued business and grow within our communities we support. That's why we offer competitive lease or purchase options and same-day service appointments for your convenience. See all our great selection of new quality pre-owned vehicles at dryreinbold.com.
This is Indy. Ready for next May?
Start your engine!
Race to Renew is on. Indy 500 ticket renewals are open for the next 500 hours. Lock in your current seats by June 16th and secure the lowest prices. And be first in line for upgrades.
Details at IMS.com.
Passion and drama.
Debris everywhere.
History and tradition.
Showtime is now.
This is Indy, where heroes become legends.
Alex Palou wins the 109 Indianapolis 500.
And legends become legendary.
Your Indiana Farm Bureau insurance agent is here to help you navigate all the ins and outs of insurance.
That's right. Julie's always there for me. She's the best.
Nice. Your agent knows.
My girl Julie. Jules, the crown jewel. Julie Jukebox. Yours, Julie.
When you've got an agent who knows.
Jewel Belt. Jewel Log. Julie Noted.
You call your agent all these nicknames?
Not yet, but I totally could. It's all cool with Jewel.
Get to know an Indiana Farm Bureau insurance agent, and you'll never have to go it alone. Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Let's insurance together.
I'm David Peterson, President and CEO for ERMCO, electrical systems and automation contractor for major projects such as the Indiana University Medical School and the new Fishers Event Center. While we're known for these landmark projects, companies of all sizes depend on ERMCO for their preventative maintenance, emergency repairs, and energy management services. Regardless of the type or size of your project, you deserve quality and integrity. You deserve ERMCO, empowering people, inspiring innovation. ERMCO is proud to be a Quality Connection contractor, quality work, customer connected.
Post-race coverage of the 109th running of the Indianapolis 500 is brought to you by Quality Supply and Tool in Indianapolis, Bloomington, Jeffersonville, and Lafayette. QualitySupplyandTool.com. Think outside the box. Store.
From the Hensley Little Group Race Command Center, post-race coverage continues on 93 WIBC plus 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan, Greg Rakestraw, Kurt Darling, John Herrick. Thanks to Scott Johnston. Thanks to Jack Johnston. They are not of relation, but they are related in terms of helping us make sure our signals to you on this Sunday night. Again, we will bring you the Alex Palou Victory Press Conference when it becomes available. Again, he has been doing the media rounds, including hanging out with some fans that are still here celebrating at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. With you until 7 on the Fan, until 8 o'clock on 93 WIBC. Again, I want to get back to the Team Penske conversation, but want to do so, and I think we have the proper amount of time to kind of fully get in-depth to it. So let's have a chat about something I think is about a 4 or 5 minute topic here, and that is, frankly, some things that ended up being a non-story. And I got to tell you, Kurt, I was surprised at how much of a non-story Kyle Larson was the entire month at the Motor Speedway.
Yeah, it was. It's very unfortunate not just this year, but just the last 2 years. It was a 2-year deal with Arrow McLaren and Team Hendrick Motorsports for him to run the Indianapolis 500 in an attempt to do the double. Of course, the only driver to ever finish the double was Tony Stewart back in 2001, 1,100 miles in one day. And unfortunately, not only It wasn't Mother Nature this time that hampered it like it did last year, but it was actually the crash that happened midway through the race where he unfortunately he had a downshift in going into turn 2 on a restart that he didn't need to make. And it was a simple inexperience error that you might expect from somebody like Kyle Larson, who doesn't have a lot of seat time in an Indy car, but nevertheless, it was an unfortunate mistake that ended up costing him the race. He only made it 230 miles today, and he will, and depending on how far he goes for the Coke 600 later this evening, he'll have put in a fair amount of mileage, but it will not be the 1,100 that we certainly expected. But yeah, it's certainly unfortunate how the whole experience ended for him, and hopefully we see him back in an Indy car sometime soon.
John, frankly, he was a much bigger deal last year and much more competitive last year. Just really, the Arrow McLaren team didn't have great speed in terms of the 4 days of practice, in terms of qualifying. Again, it was one of those things where he almost kind of said, hey, Kyle's running a different race. We're not talking about Kyle winning the race. We're talking about Kyle trying to finish 500 miles, and again, didn't get to the halfway point. I want to see it happen in terms of coming back. I think the IndyCar paddock would welcome him back, but I kind of get the feeling this was the end of that, and I'm not sure how soon we might see some of that be done again.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that is going to maybe depend on how he does tonight and in Charlotte, because I think when you're somebody like him and you're trying to do the double, you're not just looking at how you do in Indy, you're looking at the total experience, right? I mean, and how taxing that can be on you mentally, emotionally, and physically. The weird thing about, the big difference was last year he qualifies fifth and really wows everybody in qualifying. The other thing that worries you about this year, he was a non-factor in qualifying too, qualifying 19th and then finishes 27th, and then he was the cause of that wreck today, which he later admitted and had some people riled up about that. So very tough day for him. You do wonder what his future would be in coming back, because this place does need, and I think thrives on, colorful personalities and people that are willing to try to push themselves to do challenging things. It's just unfortunate for Kyle that the challenging things he's tried to do have not come to fruition.
The guy that frankly, I don't think enough credit was given to him when he did this. And we talk about the only guy that's done the full 1,100 miles. This guy had an issue in the Coke 600 after he was here. The longer in the rearview mirror Kurt Busch's appearance at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway is, the better he gets. Again, he was just he was on the lead lap, kind of between 6 and 10 most of the race, but he finished the 500 miles in the rearview mirror, Kurt. That looks better every year.
Yeah, it does. And so he finished the 500 miles, but then he crashed in the subsequent Coke 600. Later on, he was literally within 200 miles of finishing the full 1,100 miles that year, and it's great that you bring that up, Greg, is because when you think of the double, you think of people like John Andretti, like Robbie Gordon, like Tony Stewart, and then recently, of course, Jimmy Johnson and Kyle Larson. Now, Kurt Busch kind of gets lost in the fray a little bit when it comes to that, because when he did it that one year, he was very good. In fact, he ran as high as fifth in that Indy 500. He finished the race, and then he goes and unfortunately crashes out in the Coke 600 after getting an IV of fluids on a plane ride on the way over to Charlotte. But still, it's great that you brought that up, because it just amplifies even more how challenging the double is, regardless of who you are in the pedigree of racer you are.
It's great that Kyle's here. I would love to see him come back, and Lord knows, again, that kid has the same DNA as Ken Schrader. Is there a day that ends in Y? Yes, then I should be in a race car. I would love to see him here. I just kind of got the vibe. It was a different feeling for him this year than it was a year ago. Again, we will hear from Alex Palou. I can hear his fans cheering him on right now. We'll hear from him once he gets to the press conference room at some point in time in this hour or the next. A guy that has fans that cheer him all of the time is Matt Baer, and he is standing by with WIBC traffic.
I had no idea. Southbound, I want to tell you about this crash. This is really important for people hitting 65 from Speedway right now, especially north of the track. Southbound 65 is stopped, and it's stopped because of a crash. West 21st Street, past the White River, almost to 38th Street, Kessler Boulevard. So this is an issue right now, and we're coming in with a delay of 19 minutes. That's more than doubled since the last time we talked about 10 minutes ago. But southbound 65 completely jammed after 38th Kess down to 21st right now. We do have a crash, and this is going to be from Kessler Boulevard to 38th Street. So a crash on the entrance ramp there. I look at Lafayette Road as we still check this north part of the track, north of the track, and Lafayette Road heading southbound towards 16th Street is busy, slow, barely moving from 38th down to 34th Street, and again 30th Street all the way down to Cold Spring Road, then to that 16th Street intersection. As we look at eastbound 16th heading towards Indianapolis, it's a zoo from the roundabout over to Lafayette Road. Heading southbound 465, crash clear at Rockville Road, no matter, still stop and go from Crawfordsville Road down to Rockville Road. The northbound lanes slow from 74 up to 38th Street, then stop and go traffic to West 56th Street. Really heavy on that exit from northbound 465 to northbound 65. Northbound 465 up in Pack Township, stop and go 86th Street up to 865. Traffic sponsored by Sullivan Hardware and Garden, just in time for Memorial Day at Sullivan Hardware and Garden. Get 30% off all patio furniture, wicker, Berlin Gardens, poly, cast aluminum, teak, and more. I'm Matt Bear with traffic on the 5s, or whenever at WIBC Traffic.
My name's Craig Landers. I'm a union laborer for Local 120, and I'm a member of the Veterans Steering Committee and been retired for 7 years.
For members of the Laborers International Union of North America, giving back is part of their commitment to the Indy community.
I like to help veterans and family downtown. Part of the building burnt down that housed the veterans that lived there. So we donated money to help out. They lost everything they had. I mean, didn't have much, but they lost what they did have.
When the Indy community needs help, LIUNA steps up.
People bring in clothes and shoes and food. We had a couple of car shows and donated the proceeds to the Veteran Suicide Prevention.
This is Chris Brickey, Business Manager of Labor's Local 120. While all our members are skilled, highly trained men and women, we are also your friends, neighbors, Little League coaches, and volunteers here in Indy.
Pretty good to help them guys out. That's a good feeling to help people out.
We build Indy for good jobs and stronger communities. We are LIUNA Local 120.
BJ Nichols and 6-time IndyCar champion Scott Dixon.
Scott, you know watches and race cars have a lot in common? Both are engineered for precision and built to perform.
Exactly. And when it comes to watches and jewelry, I trust the experts at Reese Nichols to deliver the same excellence I expect from my pit crew.
From race-ready watches to designer jewelry and stunning diamond rings, we've got it all.
And at Reese Nichols, I can count on gifts that will always take the checkered flag.
From start to finish, we've got you covered. Reese Nichols Jewelers, Keystone at the Crossing, Greenwood, and at ReeseNichols.com.
In the construction business and can't find what you need? Quality Supply and Tool has served Hoosiers for over a quarter of a century. Tom Hawk is the branch manager of the Indy location on South Harding Street.
We've always been big on keeping our shelves fully stocked of inventory of industrial-grade tools, concrete, masonry products, as well as the necessary accessories to help get the job done. You don't have it, you can't sell it. Our experience allows us to help with getting the pros as well as the weekend pro taken care of.
Quality Supply and Tool also has locations in Bloomington, Lafayette, and Jeffersonville to help you think outside the box. Store.
No memory of hitting the car, no memory of the accident at all. I broke my pelvis, fractured a couple of vertebrae, tore my rotator cuff, broke stuff in my left foot. I felt really vulnerable, and I just needed someone that I could trust that would handle this affair for me. I called Hensley Legal Group. Throughout the process, they were communicating with me. I have zero regrets. They helped me make the best decision for my outcome. When it happens, do yourself a favor. Hire Hensley.
My name's Craig Landers. I'm a union laborer for Local 120, and I'm a member of the Veterans Steering Committee and been retired for 7 years.
For members of the Laborers International Union of North America, giving back is part of their commitment to the Indy community.
I like to help veterans and family downtown. Part of the building burnt down that housed the veterans that lived there. So we donated money to help out. They lost everything they had. I mean, didn't have much, but they lost what they did have.
When the Indy community needs help, LIUNA steps up.
People bring in clothes and shoes and food. We had a couple of car shows and donated the proceeds to the Veteran Suicide Prevention.
This is Chris Brickey, Business Manager of Labor's Local 120. While all our members are skilled, highly trained men and women, we are also your friends, neighbors, Little League coaches, and volunteers here in Indy.
Pretty good to help them guys out. That's a good feeling to help people out.
We build Indy for good jobs and stronger communities. We are LIUNA Local 120.
Hey, it's Marco Andretti. When you hit the pump, make a better choice for your wallet and the environment. Fuel up with an Indiana Corn ethanol blend. Unleaded 88 contains up to 15% ethanol and can be used in virtually every car, while that yellow cap or Flex Fuel logo means you can grab the E85 pump. No matter which one you choose, you are lowering the greenhouse gas emissions and your bill to fill. So next time you get to empty, choose an ethanol blend for your refill. Find a station at incornandsoy.org/ethanol. This message is brought to you by Indiana's corn farmers and their checkoff.
Every day deserves sunlight. Sunlight Cream Ale from Sun King Brewery is the perfect local beer for any occasion. Smooth, refreshing, and brewed for moments big and small. Check out sunkingbrewery.com.
The biggest party on dirt is back at Eldora Speedway, July 16th through 19th for the Kings Royal and High Limit Jokers Jackpot. Buy your tickets today at EldoraSpeedway.com.
Post-race coverage of the 109th running of the Indianapolis 500 is brought to you by Quality Supply and Tool in Indianapolis, Bloomington, Jeffersonville, and Lafayette. QualitySupplyandTool.com. Think outside the box.
From the Hensley Legal Group Race Command Center, you are listening on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan, not to mention 93 WIBC. With you on The Fan until 7. That's when Pacers playoff basketball takes over. A special extra 30 minutes of pregame with JMV. And then it is the voice of the Indiana Pacers, Mark Boyle, Pat Boylan, Eddie Gill, and more. Again, Pacers and Knicks. 4th time that race and Pacers playoff basketball have happened on the same day. 1999, 2004, 2013, and today. Pacers coverage at 7 on The Fan. Race coverage continues until 8 on 93 WIBC. We're in standby mode for Alex Pillow to start his winner's press conference. We will bring as much of that to you as we possibly can. But now let's talk about the 10 cars that did not finish today's 109th running of the Indianapolis 500. We touched on Scott McLaughlin, who again wrecked on the pace lap trying to warm his tires, and he will finish 33rd. Marco Andretti completed his 20th Indianapolis 500. Well, he only saw the green flag for one lap. On the restart after the McLaughlin issue on the pace lap, we then counted the next 4 laps under yellow, but those counted towards the race. On the restart, they started to go 4 wide into 1. That never goes well. The one person that was kind of hung out to dry was Marco Andretti. John, I'll start with you on this. Frankly, Marco really hasn't been a factor in this race for some time. This was the 5th consecutive 500 in which he ran just the 500 and not the full season. Kind of the last big blast for him was being the pole sitter in the COVID-shortened year, the August race of 2020. Even after he won the pole, frankly, was not a factor in the race that day.
Yep.
I think there is some speculation. This might be the last time that Marco runs a car in the 500. I'm sure he would like to come back and try to rectify, not go on such a sour note, but I do worry that might have been the last time we see him in a car here at the Motor Speedway.
Yeah, and you're very well could be right about that because
I hope I'm not.
I hope you're not.
I
hope you're not. The Andretti name is very, very important at this track, but when you obviously we did our pre-race show from 6 to 11. IMS Network, the Hall of Famers, they take over from 11 on until the race is over. And when they were going around and they were interviewing all the different engineers and people with all the different teams, and Marco Andretti's team gets interviewed, and they felt like, hey, we know we're near the back, but we've got a car that we think is doing well. We may not have the speed like some of the front guys have, but we feel pretty good about it. When you have that expectation and then you don't make it far at all, not much further than Scott McLaughlin made it, it's deflating. It is very difficult. And to your point, this is something that has happened to him year after year after year. And at some point, it either turns around and it starts to go the opposite way and positive results start happening, or it isn't going to happen. And I hate to say that about Marco, but the last few times it just hasn't netted anything. And especially in the COVID year, like you said, you start on the pole and you're not much of a factor, and Takuma Sato steals the day. Takuma Sato almost stole the day today. He led a lot of laps today, but again, wasn't his day either. It's just you want to be able to at least say that you finished the race. And for Marco to not even be able to say that, it's difficult.
Think we see Marco back here next year?
I would say that I would be surprised if he is back next year, because even though if you're Marco Andretti, obviously, and you're the Andretti Global team, you're looking to get that 4th car in because you want to get to that 33 cars as well. But still, I would be surprised to see him back. And if he is back, it would be great. But like I said, Rick, I would be surprised to see him back.
You know who's going to be back? Alex Pillow. You know who's upstairs? Alex Pillow. Let's get to the winner's press conference right now.
Where this is the place to do it, right?
Absolutely. This is the best place ever. Best win ever. For sure.
What have you been doing for like the last hours?
Nothing. I was just chilling at my bus.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. celebrating. I was celebrating with the fans, the amazing fans that we had today. They were incredible. There were so many people that sticked around for that victory lap, celebration lap. I don't know how we call it, but it was amazing. Then just with the team, my family. I have a ton of family here today, so it's an amazing day.
I believe it was last week you said that your career wouldn't be deemed successful unless you won the Indy 500. So, what does this mean?
It means that we checked that box and we need another one now. Like, that's what we need now. Yes.
This is like literally an hour old. You're already looking for another one, huh?
Yeah. Well, no. I mean, yes.
Yes.
But it's amazing. It's amazing to win this race. This race means so much for me, for my family, for the IndyCar community, our fans, and I would say motorsport in general. So to be an Indy 500 championship, it's amazing.
One more before we open up for questions. Tell us about the pass. What did you see?
Well, we were not in the best position on strategy. We had the worst tires and less fuel than Marcus and a little bit less than Malukas. So I knew that it was going to be tough at the end, just because with less grip on the tires and with some traffic, I was just not going to have any chance to overtake him. So I saw that I had a small gap, and I wanted to take it. It was a bit too early to go for it, but I thought it was my best strategy to try and go with the traffic and try and get the win.
Congratulations. All right.
Thank you.
Questions here. We'll begin in person and time permitting. Take some off of Zoom as well. Kinsey, you got Bob Pockrass right behind you. Madeline, go ahead and find one in the second row.
You want me to go? Go ahead, Bob. Alex, I'm to your right.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
It could be said Marcus should have been able to avoid you passing him there. I'm curious, when you're following him, are you just kind of waiting for him to make, a mistake or a hiccup? And is that any harder on an oval versus a road course?
When I was behind him, I was just saving fuel. We didn't have enough fuel to go for it. So those first 5-6 laps, or maybe a bit more, that I was behind him, I was just trying to save some fuel so we could go hard at the end, trying to stay in the lead. So, I knew that was getting towards like late to pass him for the amount of laps that I had on the tires. But glad we made it work.
And is there any part of you that's glad you hadn't won on an oval before, so that your first oval win could be here?
Yeah, absolutely. It just makes it extra special. I think I would have been as happy as I'm right now, but to say that I've only won one oval race and it's been at the Speedway, that's always going to be like that.
Nathan?
Alex, we keep asking these history questions, trying to put this season and this run that you and the 10 crew are on into perspective. The only two drivers to win 5 of the first 6 races of a season in modern IndyCar history are Al Unser Sr. and AJ Foyt. Can you, this latest win for you, this biggest race win in the world, can you try to put into perspective what you've accomplished and what this team has accomplished so far to start this year off?
It's incredible. Like, honestly, I think I get a lot of credit because you see that I'm the only one driving the car, but there's a huge team behind that is making me look very good on track. Like, we have fast cars every single weekend, and that's really tough to do here in IndyCar, especially nowadays. So I was just taking the chances that we've had so far this season. Whenever we've had the chance to win, we've been able to execute, and that's taking into account not only the setup, but the strategies, the pit stops that they did today as well. So it's amazing. It's incredible. And I know, I've been telling you guys that I know that this is not normal. But I'm glad that it didn't end today. And that we got the wave until the 500 at least.
It is far from normal. It is increasingly becoming the norm. Alex Palou wins for a 5th time in 6 races this season. And this one, the greatest of them all, his first Indianapolis 500-mile race victory. We'll hear more from Alex Palou when we come back. Before these finely crafted commercial messages, here's the finely crafted traffic report from Matt Bear.
All right, Ray, looking to southbound 65, and we have stopped traffic after 38th Street, Kessler Boulevard, down to 21st, and that's because of a crash. It's sitting in the fast lane for a 26-minute delay. Checking the rest of the interstates near Speedway and northbound 465, pockets of stop-and-go traffic from 74 on up to West 56, and then that exit from northbound 465 to I-65. That is slow. Leave right now, and it's going slowly as you can expect.
Indianapolis Motor Speedway coverage is brought to you by the Indiana Union Construction Industry. Value on display every day.
Cunningham Road, like you're going from 16th westbound into Cunningham Road from Lyndhurst Drive up to 16th Street. You'll probably be diverted onto westbound 21st Street from there, and that is a full house out to Girls School Road. And if you're heading into Speedway, use the city streets right now because all those exit ramps, 465, 65, including 70 at Holt, those are shut down right now to limit traffic into the town of Speedway. Traffic sponsored by Sullivan Hardware and Garden. Just in time for Memorial Day at Sullivan Hardware and Garden. Get 30% off all patio furniture, wicker, Berlin Gardens poly, cast aluminum, teak, and more. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
A quick question for dads. Is your child's school providing them with the skills they'll need to succeed in the real world? Do you feel like they're safe when they go to school? Do you worry about bullying and drugs? Are they getting a solid foundation in the basics core subjects like math, reading, and science? How about after-school programs? Does your child have access to quality activities like clubs, arts, and sports? If the neighborhood school isn't working for your child, they're not stuck where they are. You and your child have options. Your child can choose another school, one that's a better fit. There are opportunities for your child to attend other traditional public schools, public charter schools, private school, or there's virtual or homeschool learning, whatever fits best for your kid. Don't settle. Get your child the education they deserve. Make a choice. Make a change. Visit myschooloptions.org. That's myschooloptions.org.
Paid for by the Institute for Quality Education.
You can be a hero at the finish line when you say yes to organ donation. I'm Jake Query, sports talk show host and auto racing announcer, and I hear so many stories about how organ donation saves lives. Like the 5 lives saved by race car driver Brian Clausen, who was an organ donor after he tragically passed away in a racing accident in 2016. You can be a hero when you say yes to organ donation the next time you're at the BMV. Learn more at driven2savelives.org.
When you become an iron worker, you accept the challenge to be a different kind of person. One not afraid to step out onto a 12-inch wide beam above the city. One who doesn't blink with sparks flying past their welding mask. One with a certain kind of toughness only the best of the best can achieve. Are you the one? Become an Iron Workers Local 22 apprentice and earn as you learn with great pay, benefits, and education and skills to last a lifetime. Invest in your future at Local 22. More at ironworkers22.com.
This is Indy. Get ready. Ready for next May? Start your engine! Race to Renew is on. Indy 500 ticket renewals are open for the next 500 hours. Lock in your current seats by June 16th and secure the lowest prices. And be first in line for upgrades. Details at IMS.com. Passion and drama. Debris everywhere. History and tradition.
Showtime is now.
This is Indy, where heroes become legends.
Alex Palou wins the 109 Indianapolis 500.
And legends become legendary.
Hey, it's Marco Andretti. When you hit the pump, make a better choice for your wallet and the environment. Fuel up with an Indiana corn ethanol blend. Unleaded 88 contains up to 15% ethanol and can be used in virtually every car, while that yellow cap or Flex Fuel logo means you can grab the E85 pump. No matter which one you choose, you are lowering the greenhouse gas emissions and your bill to fill. So next time you get to empty, choose an ethanol blend for your refill. Find a station at incornandsoy.org/ethanol. This message is brought to you by Indiana's corn farmers and their checkoff.
Hey race fans, this is Tim Wicker, president of Electric Plus. When it comes to commercial electrical work, new construction, facility upgrades, or routine maintenance, our team brings the horsepower to get it done right. We deliver top quality results with the skill and speed you'd expect from a winning crew. And now, as an employee-owned ESOP company, every team member is fully invested in crossing the finish line with you. Visit our website at electricplus.com to see how we can take care of your electrical needs.
Start your engines, Indy. May is race month, and timing is everything. JMV here for my friends at Moyer Fine Jewelers. Moyer Fine Jewelers is your authorized dealer of Tag Heuer, the official timekeeper of the Indianapolis 500. Celebrate the spirit of racing with a bold new Tag Heuer, or choose a watch from one of our other 20 watch collections at Moyer Fine Jewelers. Time is ticking. Race into Moyer Fine Jewelers in Carmel today. MoyerFineJewelers.com. That's MoyerFineJewelers.com.
Don't miss country music icon Dwight Yoakam with special guest The Mavericks live Thursday, June 5th at Everwise Amphitheater at White River State Park. Tickets at livenation.com. Don't miss country music icon Dwight Yoakam with special guest The Mavericks live Thursday, June 5th at Everwise Amphitheater at White River State Park. Tickets at livenation.com.
Post-race coverage of the 109th running of the Indianapolis 500 is brought to you by Quality Supply and Tool in Indianapolis, Bloomington, Jeffersonville, and Lafayette. QualitySupplyandTool.com. Think outside the box. Store.
From the Hensley Legal Group Race Command Center, continued post-race coverage on 93 WIBC and 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. What continues now is the victory press conference for your winner, Alex Palou. Let's get back to it.
Yeah, that's how it goes sometimes. Like, you suddenly have a lot of back-to-back yellows, or suddenly you have a really clean race. I think it's because the pace was actually really fast at the end. Like, the speeds that we were having with the traffic was quite high. So that played into a role of, like, not having so much yellows at the end.
And all the comparisons being made to you with Floyd and Unser, it's difficult to put all that in perspective, given that they're near the top of all the wins list, every single record you'd ever want, and you're in your 6th season in IndyCar racing right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing to hear that stuff. I never thought that I would have my name, that somebody would say my name around those names. They are not a big part, or they're not like legends of IndyCar. They are legends of motorsport worldwide. So, yeah, I don't think that we're with them yet. They have a lot more work done than us, but it's for sure very encouraging to hear my name around them.
Thank you for your patience. Go ahead.
Nere Vargas por el tema TN. Para la comunidad hispana que te sigue. Te hemos visto ganar 3 veces la Indy Series completa, pero ¿qué se siente finalmente, tus impresiones de ganar la Indy 500 después de tantos intentos?
Nada, es increíble. Creo que el apoyo que hemos tenido.
Now, we, of course, at Urban One and Radio One have multiple different radio stations. Some of them have to be of a Spanish language format. However, for the interest of our English-speaking audience, largely, on 93 WIBC and 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan, I don't speak Espanol. You?
No, not
no bueno.
No.
Okay, so we can't translate enough, so we'll try to go back to Alex, so to speak, when the next question is asked. But such is the nature of an international victory, you're going to get questions in a different language. Now, Kurt, you ready to play the game?
Yeah, sure.
We had a show meeting without John. John was busy doing whatever he was doing during a 5 or 6 minute traffic/commercial break. Alex is the first Spaniard to win the Indy 500. There have now been 14 different nations/countries, a bit of a hint there, that have had an Indianapolis 500 winner. I don't have the answer in front of me. Kurt Darling does, which makes him ineligible to play the game. So, John, would you like for me to try first, or do you want to give it a try to see if you can name the 14 different nations that have had an Indianapolis 500-mile race winner?
I'll let you go first.
Okay. I'm going to go good old U.S. of A.
Yes.
Canada.
Yes.
Let's go with Colombia.
That is correct.
For Juan Pablo Montoya. New Zealand.
Yes.
Australia.
Yes.
England.
Oh, wait, no, actually, hold on. Technically not New Zealand. Scott Dixon was born in Australia.
But I think he would be of New Zealand heritage.
Yes, so we'll give you credit for that one. Yes. So, yeah, anyway, continue.
I'll change the rules of the game mid-flight. Obviously, Spain was just mentioned. Correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. France, very early in the race, and Simon Pagenaud in 2019 would have been of that ilk. We've had Englishmen win the race.
Yes.
We've had a Scotsman win the race.
Yes.
All right. How many nations am I missing at this point? Brazil. I'll jump in again.
So
multiple winners from Brazil.
So now including Brazil, you are still missing 3.
All right. Japan would be one of those.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. So I'm missing 2.
Yes.
Okay.
One is a very recent winner.
Sweden.
That is correct.
For Marcus Ericsson. So I am missing one other nationality. Can I get a hint or can I get some sort of date range as to when this nation was represented in the victory podium?
You could get this date. They have 3 wins.
Okay.
Between 1915 and 1970.
1915 and 1970. Would that be Italy because of Mario Andretti?
That is correct.
Thank you very much.
Of course, also Ralph De Palma and Dario Resta, 1915 and 1960.
What do I win? I get to keep hosting the show till 8 o'clock?
Yeah, let's go with that.
Okay, let's see if I win a break. Let's see if Alex Palou is back to speaking English. Let's once again try the victory press conference from the floor above us.
What it means for you, the first Spanish driver winning Indy 500. Maybe you don't know it, but in your country, it's tradition, very successful sports personalities. Alonso, Carlos Sainz Sr. winning the World Championship of Rallies. And then also the world famous soccer club, Real Madrid. They got all invited to the King, the Royal Palace. When you go back to Spain, are you prepared and expecting the same to be invited by the Spanish King in the Royal Palace in Madrid?
I don't think so. I'll take a couple of pictures for sure, and it'll be awesome to go there. But I don't think that's going to happen, unfortunately. Maybe not. No, just I don't think they. Well, maybe now they start following more. I don't know.
Let's take a couple off Zoom. Miguel De Posto from Diario AS. Go ahead. Unmute yourself, please. There you go. No, we cannot hear you, Miguel. Tell you what, we'll come back to you. Jorge.
All right. So again, sometimes that happens, and now you know the methodology which we used to get the press conference. By the way, we've had several texts, tweets, emails in the last 2 minutes. We neglected Arie Luyendyk and the Netherlands as a nation that has produced an Indianapolis 500 winner, and Spain joins that group from the first time. All right, John, how many of those would you have got?
I would have gotten probably all of them except for Colombia. That one baffled me.
Thankfully, the Juan Pablo Montoya, this is where doing the PA for the race helps a little bit, at least in the morning.
Yeah, that's cheating,
because this was the 25th and 10th anniversaries of Juan Pablo's 2 wins. Had that at the front of my cortex, and I could pull that out for a situation such as this. The good news is our post-race coverage is going to continue. The bad news is this is the final traffic report for Matt Baer. Make it a good one, Strap.
No. All right, guys, look at this. Southbound 65. Crash and stopped as you make your way from the northwest side down to 21st Street. The left lane is blocked, and traffic is stopped back to 38th Street, Kessler Boulevard. A 36-minute delay after you make it at 65, then you have to deal with that. Again, a southbound 65 jammed after 38th Kessler to 21st, left lane closed because of a crash. Now, southbound 465 on the west side, stop and go traffic from Crawfordsville Road down to Rockville Road. We had a crash in that earlier, but this is race day traffic here mostly. Northbound 465 also slows from 74 through the ramp to northbound 65. Northbound 465 in Pike Township stopped. 86th Street up to 865. Going to Brownsburg, Illinois, whatever. Westbound 74 slows Raceway Road over to Ronald Reagan Parkway. And then we look at Speedway itself. If you're trying to get from the track, say, using 16th Street, of course, that's loaded up. Pull Cocoa Pass, the White River out to Riverside Drive, northbound to Lafayette Road and the southbound direction, jammed up from Kessler down to West 16th Street. I checked 30th Street, and yes, everything flowing from Georgetown Road in the westbound, eastbound direction, barely moving at all. Traffic sponsored by Sullivan Hardware and Garden. Just in time for Memorial Day at Sullivan Hardware and Garden. Get 30% off all patio furniture, wicker, Berlin cartons, poly, cast aluminum, teak, and more. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Let's talk education. Is your child's school providing them with the knowledge and values they'll need in life? Do you worry about what they may be taught in the hallways and even in the classroom? Do you feel like they're safe when they go to school? What about things other than just academics? Is your child's school supportive of your family's beliefs? If the neighborhood school isn't the right fit for your child, you and your child have options. You can choose a school that aligns with your values. There are opportunities for your child to attend other traditional public schools, public charter schools, private school, or there's virtual or homeschool learning. Whatever is best for your family. Don't settle for something that doesn't feel right. You don't have to choose between your values and their education. Make a choice. Make a change. Visit myschooloptions.org. That's myschooloptions.org.
Paid for by the Institute for Quality Education.
You may not have 1,000 horsepower, but you're always racing. So go the distance, knowing Hubler's got you covered on pre-owned vehicles. Shop any of Hubler's 13 locations and choose from over 2,000 vehicles, including pre-owned Chevys, Fords, Toyotas, GMCs, Buicks, Nissans, Acuras, Mazdas, Hondas, and many more. No matter where you're racing to, Hubler's got you covered for 100,000 miles. Visit drivehubler.com.
Cover me!
Warranty on select models less than 9 years old.
This is Indy. You ready? Ready for next May? Start your engine! Race to Renew is on. Indy 500 ticket renewals are open for the next 500 hours. Lock in your current seats by June 16th and secure the lowest prices. And be first in line for upgrades. Details at IMS.com. Passion and drama. Debris everywhere. History and tradition. Showtime is now. This is Indy, where heroes become legends.
Alex Palou wins the 109th Indianapolis 500.
And legends become legendary.
In the construction business and tired of dealing with the indifference of big corporate suppliers? Quality Supply and Tool on South Harding Street understands. For over 25 years, owner Kevin Ane has had a different approach.
We at Quality Supply and Tool take pride in being a locally owned family business, committed to service. And every customer's needs are different, and we truly believe in shaping our business to our customers' needs. That's what separates us from the competition.
That's Quality Supply and Tool with additional locations in Bloomington, Jeffersonville, and Lafayette to serve Hoosiers better. Partner with Quality Supply and Tool and think outside the box. Store.
A quick question for dads. Is your child's school providing them with the skills they'll need to succeed in the real world? Do you feel like they're safe when they go to school? Do you worry about bullying and drugs? Are they getting a solid foundation in the basics, core subjects like math, reading, and science? How about after-school programs? Does your child have access to quality activities like clubs, arts, and sports? If the neighborhood school isn't working for your child, they're not stuck where they are. You and your child have options. You may not know this, but your child could get a voucher worth approximately $6,000 for tuition at a private school. For real, over 70,000 Indiana kids already have. Don't settle for less when it comes to your child's education. Get your child the education they deserve. Make a choice. Make a change. Visit myschooloptions.org. That's myschooloptions.org.
Paid for by the Institute for Quality Education.
Hey, race fans. This is Tim Wicker, president of Electric Plus. When it comes to commercial electrical work, new construction, facility upgrades, or routine maintenance, our team brings the horsepower to get it done right. We deliver top quality results with the skill and speed you'd expect from a winning crew. And now, as an employee-owned ESOP company, every team member is fully invested in crossing the finish line with you. Visit our website at electricplus.com to see how we can take care of your electrical needs.
Post-race coverage of the 109th running of the Indianapolis 500 is brought to you by Quality Supply and Tool in Indianapolis, Bloomington, Jeffersonville, and Lafayette. QualitySupplyandTool.com. Think outside the box. Store.
Welcome back to the Hensley Legal Group Race Command Center. on 93 WIBC, 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Again, this is the final segment for those of you listening on The Fan. If you're tuning in to hear the Pacers game, you're in the right place. JMV will have a special extended half hour of pregame coverage starting at the top of the hour. If you want to continue talking about Alex Palou winning the 109th running of the Indianapolis 500 or any other storylines that we have discussed or have yet to talk about, if you're not on WIBC, go there now. 93.1 FM and or at WIBC.com. My name is Greg Rakestraw, joined by Kurt Darling and John Herrick. Some of the other stories that we frankly haven't had a chance to get to. We started talking about some of those that crashed out of this race, and most of these guys that we talked about were guys that led it at some point in time, frankly, when 14 different drivers led. There's a lot of storylines to get to. We talked about Scott McLaughlin. He never led. We talked about Marco Andretti. He never led. Alexander Rossi did, but Alexander Rossi, all of a sudden, he's going on the track. Smoke is coming out of the car. Alexander Rossi gets to the pit lane. Car catches on fire. Alexander Rossi's fueler catches on fire. Thankfully, he is okay. He was taken to the infield medical care center and was quickly released. Again, a harrowing day for Alexander Rossi. He finishes 31st. He had a really good car. Unfortunately, it was a gearbox issue that led to that fire.
Yeah, of course, it was the gearbox issue that brought him in, and then everything, all hell literally broke loose in his pit stall because they were fueling up his car, and then when the fueler took the hose out, fuel spilled all over the car, and then of course that sparked the fire. But all of that being said, it was just a cacophony of issues that just led to Alexander Rossi, who quite frankly had a really decent car up until that point, just ended up really falling out of the race, and he showed his frustration there when he threw his gloves off as he got out of the car. But still, at least everybody appears to be okay after the fact, but still a tough day for Rossi.
There were three different strategies early in the race because of the early cautions. Obviously, by the time we got to the tail end, maybe you had guys that were off a lap or two. Obviously, you had Marcus Ericsson, who came in later than any of the others, and there's one other guy that didn't finish the race who was leading the race when he pitted and then never rejoined the fray. We'll get there eventually. John, let's talk about Rinus VeeKay. Now, was Rinus likely a threat to win this race? Probably not, because Rinus really struggled. Obviously had to go through last row qualifying, ended up because of the Penske move being bumped up a couple of spots, middle of road number 10. He completely lost his brakes, was going 40 miles an hour more than you're supposed to be when you're going into pit lane. When he finally got on the brakes, and brake failures were an issue today, he slams the inside of the pit wall. Thankfully, he did so before any of the IndyCar pit boxes actually started, so no one was injured. Neither was Rinus. His car obviously was done for the day, and a rough month for Dale Coyne Racing where one car makes the show and the other car doesn't. The one car that did, John, finished 30th.
Yeah, and the shame of it all, too, was that Rinus VeeKay, similar to Joseph Newgarden, was moving up the pack. He started near the back. He was making moves. He was advancing in the field, and then that happens, and that's not a way a car is supposed to spin. And, to Kurt's point earlier, what was really alarming was this race illustrated the importance of pit procedure and how you've got to execute that, because we saw a lot of problems today, and we saw a lot of dangerous problems, not just with Rossi's car catching fire. Robert Schwartzman had his issues in the pit where he hit a couple of his crew members, and one of them had to be taken out on a stretcher, and then VeeKay goes spinning. I mean, these are things that, guys are putting their lives on the line here. It's not just a sponsorship. It's not just money involved. There's some dangerous things that can happen, and today was evidence of that.
And Robert Schwartzman is the next story, Kurt, I was going to get to, and I think most of us expected that he would drop back. I think the realistic goal for him was to finish the race running and hopefully be on the lead lap. That was a quantum leap forward they took to get to the pole. If you told me more than a month starting to finish 29th, I'd say that sounds about right. The fact that he took out half his pit crew on a pit stop, that obviously was a big problem.
Yeah, it was, and it's another part of being a rookie here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway is you quite literally learn on the fly. You are thrown to the wolves. You can go through your ROP, your rookie orientation program. You can take as much practice as you want, but they even mentioned it as well on the radio broadcast. There wasn't a lot of pit practice for Robert Schwartzman, and he, of course, comes from Europe where pit stops are completely different in Formula 2.
Fuel, yeah.
You're not adding fuel. You're not doing a whole lot of different stuff. And so, with that being said, for Robert Schwartzman, you have to give him props for at least getting the pole, getting Prema in a really good spot for the future. But yeah, a tough way to end it for Schwartzman.
The other Prema car in Callum Ilott ended up featuring very well in the race, finished P12 and finished on the lead lap. And again, we'll get to that part of the story during the 7 o'clock hour. So we've got one more hour of post-race conversation coming to you from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Again, for those of you listening on The Fan, you'll be getting Pacers coverage with JMV, and then the Elevance Health Radio Network, Mark Boyle, Eddie Gill, Pat Boylan, comes your way at 7:30. If you want to continue listening to race coverage, 93 WIBC is the place for you. Back to 16th and Georgetown in a moment as you're listening to coverage of the Indianapolis 500.
911, what's your emergency?
In an emergency, voice is best. But what if you can't call?
Escalated domestic disturbance reported east of downtown. Be advised, alert was received via 911 emergency text. Caller is hiding in a closet and can't use her voice.
When the situation is too dangerous to make a call, text to 911. Capability Now helps Hoosiers. But in most emergencies, voice is still best.
My sister's not breathing. Please hurry.
In the last 5 years, Hoosiers have used text capability in over 1 million 911 sessions. It's of great help to the deaf and speech impaired and to those in select dangerous situations. Thanks to the statewide 911 board, Indiana leads the nation with all 92 counties having in- and outbound text capability. For more, visit in911.net.
It's good to hear your voice. Help is on the way.
911. Before you text, voice is best.
State leaders are calling for cutting-edge infrastructure and new technologies to keep Indiana moving forward. The Indiana union construction industry has been a fundamental catalyst for growth in the Hoosier economy for over 100 years. In partnership with contractors, our industry makes an investment of more than $63 million a year in construction training, with no cost to taxpayers. Through on-the-job training and classroom instruction, our tradesmen and women learn skills and earn degrees, making them the skilled workforce employers count on, and the best value for your next construction project. The Indiana Union Construction Industry. Value on display every day.
Hi, I'm John Hooker, president of the Central Indiana Building Trades Council. I'm proud to represent the union construction workers who build the Indianapolis skyline. Providing the trained workforce of today for the construction projects of tomorrow, the Central Indiana Building Trades are skilled on principle, union by choice.
Dear driver, thank you. Thank you for slowing down when you saw the orange cones and road construction signs. My husband is one of those road workers. And today, you saved his life. If you hadn't slowed down, you would have missed that lane change, driven right into the work zone, and you would have killed him. Because you were driving differently. He'll be at our son's Little League game this weekend. He'll be there to walk our daughter down the aisle. He'll be out there tomorrow, making Indiana's roads safer. Thank you.
When driving in a construction zone, be smart, be alert, be in the zone.
This is Ray Hobbs, business manager of Labor's Local 741. Everyone deserves a safe place to work. Do your part in the cone zone. Slow down, save a life. We're all in this together.
A message from Indiana's District Council of Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
Would you know if someone you love was having a stroke? Franciscan Health is here when minutes matter. Like knowing when to be fast. Recognized by Health Grades as Indiana's #1 provider for stroke care, Franciscan Health Indianapolis wants you to know how to spot the signs and lower your risk for stroke. Because time loss is brain loss. Protect yourself and those you love today. Learn more at franciscanhealth.org/strokecare.
The
biggest party on dirt is back at Eldora Speedway July 16th through 19th for the Kings Royal and High Limit Jokers Jackpot. Buy your tickets today at EldoraSpeedway.com.
Just in time for Memorial Day at Sullivan Hardware and Garden, see their great selection of grills, Weber, Traeger, and Napoleon, along with the Big Green Egg, plus Gosney Pizza Ovens.
The biggest party on dirt is back at Eldora Speedway July 16th through 19th for the Kings Royal and High Limit Jokers Jackpot. Buy your tickets today at EldoraSpeedway.com.
It's race day. WIBC, WIBC HD1, HD2, HD3, Indianapolis.
The Senate says not so fast.
Welcome back to the Hensley Legal Group Race Command Center. See, our computer says, wait a minute, it's 7 o'clock. You guys are done. Mother Nature had other ideas because we were delayed by about 40 to 45 minutes at the start. Because of that and some early yellows, and because of Pacers basketball over on the Fan, we're now exclusively on 93 WIBC for our final hour of post-race coverage. Alongside Kurt Darling and John Herrick, my name is Greg Rakestraw. Thank you so much for joining us on the program tonight. Alex Palou is the winner of the 109th running of the Indianapolis 500-mile race. Again, was it a race like so many others where Palou was the dominant car? No. I was asked when I got to the track this morning, which was, by the way, just after 5 a.m. when that conversation happened, from my buddy Chris Hagan of Fox 59, who's going to win? So, well, I said history would kind of tell you Palou given the season that he has had, but I probably feel less confident about that than I did a couple of weeks ago. Well, that's exactly how it played out. This was not a dominant effort by Palou, but it was right place, right time, and much like that team seemingly has done ever since he got there, taking advantage of the opportunities Kurt put in front of you.
Alex Palou, Barry Wanzer, and Chip Ganassi, that is literally the triumvirate of success when you're looking at teams that put together an all-star caliber roster, so to speak. And so when you're talking about Alex Palou, though, in this particular race, Greg, you hit the nail on the head. He didn't dominate at all. In fact, he only led 14 laps. And that was it. The most laps led by Takuma Sato and Ryan Hunter-Reay, who we'll talk about a little bit later. But still, when you're talking about Alex Palou being at the right place at the right time because of the people that he has around him to get there, it speaks volumes of the success that not only that they had here today, but the whole season. 5 of the first 6 races, it's consistent and it's working for him.
John, when you think of Alex Palou, as you have now covered double-digit 500s at this point, when you think of Alex Palou, what immediately comes to mind?
Well, I think the words that come to my mind are patience and calculation, because the whole he just does not overcorrect. He does not get caught up in the moment. And when things are chaotic around him, the way everything was chaotic today at the start of the race, the middle of the race, the end of the race, when there was another caution that had to come out. I know it was Nolan Siegel, but still, it just goes to show you how when everything is just chaos and mishaps around him, he's about patience and calculation. And when we were sitting in here, guys, and we were seeing him and Marcus Ericsson come down on the same strategy, and you're like, okay, you got a feeling it's going to be Marcus, a former 500 winner, against a man who's certainly capable of winning it. You had a feeling that Palou was going to pull it out, and that's exactly what he did, and he's been doing it all season. So I'm very impressed with his dedication and his consistency.
Dominant today? No. Winner today? Absolutely. Dominant in the point standings? Dominant is not a strong enough word. After all the fingers and toes were counted at the end of today's race, Alex has a 115-point lead after 6 races so far. To put this in perspective, in a non-Indianapolis 500, the most points that you could score in a race would be 54. 50 for the race win, 1 for the pole, 1 for a lap led, 2 for the most laps led. Alex could sit out the next 2 races, and he would still be leading the NTT IndyCar Series point standings. That's how dominant he has been through 6 races so far. Alex will be certainly a topic of our continued conversation, but not the only one. When we come back, we'll kind of keep working our way through the field. You can talk about Joseph Newgard. You can talk about today. We can talk about he and Will Power and Team Penske for the entire month, because it's a second consecutive month where there was a dark cloud around the Penske organization going into the race, that lifted last year. This year, not so much. We'll talk about that next on 93 WIBC.
My name's Craig Landers. I'm a union laborer for Local 120, and I'm a member of the Veteran Steering Committee and been retired for 7 years.
For members of the Laborers International Union of North America, giving back is part of their commitment to the Indy community.
I like to help veterans and family downtown. Part of the building burnt down that housed the veterans that lived there. So we donated money to help out. They lost everything they had. I mean, they didn't have much. They lost what they did have.
When the Indy community needs help, LIUNA steps up.
People bring in clothes and shoes and food. We had a couple of car shows and donated the proceeds to the Veteran Suicide Prevention.
This is Chris Brickey, Business Manager of Labor's Local 120. While all our members are skilled, highly trained men and women, we are also your friends, neighbors, Little League coaches, and volunteers here in Indy.
Pretty good to help them guys out. That's a good feeling to help people out.
We build Indy for good jobs and stronger communities. We are LIUNA Local 120.
This is Indy. Ready for next May? Race to Renew is on. Indy 500 ticket renewals are open for the next 500 hours. Lock in your current seats by June 16th and secure the lowest prices and be first in line for upgrades. Details at IMS.com. Passion and drama.
Debris everywhere.
History and tradition.
Showtime is now.
This is Indy, where heroes become legends.
Alex Palou wins the 109 Indianapolis 500.
And legends become legendary. Mow like a pro with Spartan zero-turn mowers and Performance Power Sports of Indiana. Performance Power Sports of Indiana carries the full lineup of Spartan mowers with professional-grade DNA and rugged USA-made reliability. From the backyard to the back nine, every turn, every hill, and every pass is delivered with perfection when you trust Spartan to handle the job. Go to PerformancePowerSportsIN.com to see the inventory or stop by the showrooms in Frankfort and Whitestown, Zionsville. Performance Power Sports of Indiana, your one-stop shop for outdoor adventure.
Memorial Day is for honoring heroes. In Indy, it's also a day for celebrating the Indy 500. As the excitement of May grows, so do the temperatures outside. Indiana American Water reminds you to start conserving water. Just like a finely tuned race car, your home needs to run efficiently. Fix leaks, use water-efficient appliances, and do lawn watering early in the morning. Make this summer a season of savings and sustainability. Conserve water, save money, and enjoy a greener tomorrow. Happy Memorial Day and enjoy the race. From Indiana American Water.
You can be a hero at the finish line when you say yes to organ donation. I'm Jake Query, sports talk show host and auto racing announcer. And race fans across Indiana share their stories with me about how organ donation saves lives. Like Jess, a lifelong race fan whose life was saved after receiving a liver transplant in 2021 because someone just like you said yes to organ donation. Be a hero and say yes to organ donation the next time you're at the BMV.
Post-race coverage of the 109th running of the Indianapolis 500 is brought to you by Quality Supply and Tool in Indianapolis, Bloomington, Jeffersonville, and Lafayette. QualitySupplyandTool.com. Think outside the box. Store.
A reminder, you can interact with us on Twitter if you choose, at Greg Rakestraw, at John Herrick 10, at Kurt Darling _PBP if you want to chat it up with us. I've got some tweets that we will get to, thanks to Gary and Nick and others for the kind words about our post-race coverage, now exclusively on WIBC and with you until 8 o'clock. If you're looking for Pacers, go to 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan, John, JMV is talking about that now. Pacers Radio Network coverage begins at 7:30. Alex Palou is your winner. Alex Palou, I think NBC News is reporting that Alex Palou has won the 2025 NTT IndyCar season championship at this point. He's got a 115-point lead. Only a third of precincts reporting, by the way.
Quite literally.
I think we can claim that right now. Let's work our way through the field. We had gotten to kind of 29 and Robert Schwartzman. We touched on Kyle Larson. His incident before the 100-lap marker took out Kiffin Simpson and Stingray Robb as well. 26, 27, 28, Robb, Larson, Simpson. So now we get to Joseph Newgarden. And Joseph Newgarden, starting 32nd, had methodically worked his way through the field, had become a consistent top 10 runner, and I'm sure maybe he had gotten higher in certain, kind of pit exchanges, but was basically running about 6th or 7th. Came in when everybody came in for a pit stop, and then all of a sudden, and to come back in the next lap. It came back again, and then the engine cowling came off. And obviously at that point in time, you knew it was curtains. Joseph Newgarden finishes 25th, and obviously the chance for a three-peat goes by the wayside. We have now had 6 opportunities for someone to win a third Indianapolis 500. Big Al in 72, Elio in 03 finished second. Other finishes, obviously more dire, the tragic passing of Bill Vukovich going for his race win in 1955 and losing his life on the backstretch at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. For Joseph Newgarden, maybe some things that conspired against him, not of his own doing, but certainly of his team that moved him from being, potentially in the first 4 rows, and we frankly would have thought in row 1 or row 2, to starting in the back row. He was able to work his way forward. The car went away. John, I will let you start. I'll go ahead and jump to Will Power here, too. The finishes for Team Penske were 19, 25, and 33. Scott Johnson, who was always on top of things, points out there was not a Penske car that finished on the lead lap. You can probably count on one hand the number of times that has been the case in their 50-plus years of history at IMS. Where do you begin to describe what the last couple of weeks have been like for Team Penske?
Disastrous, because they're having their credibility questioned over the cheating situation. They did obviously take care of that. I think we all watched Roger Penske's interview with Jamie Little. He was candid about it. He addressed it.
And let me jump in here. Jamie was fantastic.
She did. Did a fantastic job.
That's not the main story here, but I just wanted to make sure we acknowledge that. She was great.
Yeah, and she was put in a tough spot and had to ask him some tough questions, but Roger's been asked a lot of tough questions throughout his time in racing, and he's always answered them candidly. So I do think the appropriate people who needed to be punished were punished. I don't think that Joseph Newgarden had anything to do with that. I think a lot of it was done to his car, and he was always trying to make the best out of what the situation was. He had a good, things looked like they were going to go pretty well for him in qualifying until they didn't, and that everything went wrong. Then the post-race inspection got worse, and the news got worse, and he had to start from the back. Everything he did today, despite the circumstances he was placed under, was excellent. And then, of course, he had the engine issue. I don't really see anything. I can't question Joseph as a person. I think he's done everything he's supposed to do. It's just a lot of things that, people behind the scenes didn't seem to act appropriately here. And then when you got to fire the strategist and you got to fire like the top 3 people, now you're like, now what's going to happen? It's that new people have to come in, and now you got to figure out strategy and car repair and all that all over again. It's a tough spot to be in.
And again, Kyle Moyer, IndyCar lifer, let go this week. Tim Cindric, Penske lifer, let go this week. Rosowski, who missed last year, was as a big part of that organization. The penalties that Penske handed down to themselves, moving their cars to the back. But frankly, the much bigger deal was letting go of those 3 employees who were all essential cogs of the organization. Now, does there still need to be more independence for situations like this in the IndyCar Series? Yes, there does. And Roger acknowledged that in that conversation with Jamie Little that was released earlier this week, and I'm sure the other teams will be holding his feet to the fire on that subject. I'll phrase it this way, Kurt, and then the floor is yours, and take as much time as you want to. I almost think this was a best-case scenario for IndyCar that Joseph Newgarden did not win the race today. And I hate that a chance for going for a three-peat, which would be a first, and again, the 115-year history of this event, 109-year history of the race. But given what happened going into it, for as much as it would have been great for the tabloid talk show social media conversation, it still would have been a black eye on the sport. That when you talk about this wonderful achievement, you have these question marks that go along with it. So to some degree, I almost think it's a relief the Penske cars went 19, 25, and 33. Again, their self-penalties were severe. There will still be some clamoring, I think, for some future actions. But again, that was my overwhelming thought as to how the Penske day went. Kurt, your take on the matter.
No, yeah, you actually lead into a really good point that I've actually been thinking about pretty much all week long when I've been trying to dissect for myself what this situation between Team Penske, the sport of North American open wheel racing, and the Indy 500 means. And so where I think it really starts, and I really want to address this as well, is with IMS president and IndyCar president Doug Bowles. Keep in mind, his boss is Roger Penske.
Correct.
He checked his own boss this week. And even though Roger Penske is not in the direct line of decision-making for his own racing team, nevertheless, how many people can say that they had to tell their boss, I'm punishing you? That is a daunting thing. And the fact that Doug Bowles handled it in the best way possible, taking what was going to be just starting 10th, 11th, 12th to 10th, 32nd, 33rd, that is what really, in my opinion, at least gives you a little bit of hope that, okay, even though the owner of the series is also the owner of a racing team that is under fire for possibly cheating, but at the same time, that does bring up the court of public opinion issue that you were talking about. At the end of the day...
Optics being the word that got used a lot, even by the folks from the series and by Roger Penske.
Exactly. Yeah. The optics matter. And believe it or not, where the sport of North American open wheel racing is now is at a very critical time. It's a delicate time because when you're coming off of 4 decades of turmoil, where you finally have unity in the series, consistent unity in the series for over a decade, and now you're trying to build it forward coming off of a big, massive TV deal that you signed with Fox, and then keeping on top of that, keeping the sport growing internationally, however you do it, you have to make sure that you make the right moves going forward, even if it means that you have to give in to optics to make it happen. Now, that being said, whether it was a competitive advantage or if it was just, the look of the car, right, a mistake or whatever for that attenuator issue. Bottom line is they broke the rules. Yeah. It was as simple as that, and they needed to be punished, and they were. Still, that being said, when you're having 2 cheating scandals in the span of 13 calendar months, this is the second race in a row that Team Penske was not at full strength.
Correct, yes, correct.
Because Tim Cindric wasn't on the stand last year. Neither was Ron Rzuski or Kyle Moyer. Same thing again this year. The impressive thing is Joseph Newgarden won the race last year without that. But that being said, fool me twice, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And so at this point, the right decision was made for the future of Team Penske, the future of the NTT IndyCar Series, and now it's just a matter of putting it behind us and hopefully moving the sport forward to a point where we can avoid these types of things.
We'll put it behind us for this show. I guarantee it's not put behind in terms of in the paddock and, again, in the court of public opinion. We'll keep walking you through the field, trying to get to as many of the storylines as possible between now and 8 o'clock. The ultimate storyline is this. Alex Palou did something that we all thought he's going to do at some point in time. He has now checked the box. He is a first-time winner of the Indianapolis 500-mile race. Back in a moment, 93 WIBC.
A quick question for dads. Is your child's school providing them with the skills they'll need to succeed in the real world? Do you feel like they're safe when they go to school? Do you worry about bullying and drugs? Are they getting a solid foundation in the basics core subjects like math, reading, and science? How about after-school programs? Does your child have access to quality activities like clubs, arts, and sports? Your child is not stuck where they are. You and your child have options. Your child could get a voucher worth approximately $6,000 for tuition at a private school. For real, over 75,000 Indiana kids already have. Many kids thrive with the high standards, small class sizes, and more individual attention at private schools. Don't settle for less when it comes to your child's education. Make a choice. Make a change. Visit myschooloptions.org. That's myschooloptions.org.
Paid for by the Institute for Quality Education.
I'm Dennis Reinbold for Dryer & Reinbold BMW, Infiniti, and Mini at I-465 in Keystone. And Dryer & Reinbold BMW, Infiniti, Subaru, and Volkswagen at US 31 South in Greenwood. For 56 years, we've been working hard to earn your continued business and grow within our communities we support. That's why we offer competitive lease or purchase options and same-day service appointments for your convenience. See all our great selection of new quality pre-owned vehicles at dryreinbold.com.
We build Indiana. The Laborers International Union of North America builds and maintains roads, bridges, and other essential infrastructure that make us the crossroads of America. So thanks to LIUNA members' work, Hoosiers have a better quality of life, like access to utilities, easier routes to jobs, schools, or medical care, and deliveries keep moving. We build Indiana for good jobs and stronger communities. The Laborers International Union of North America. We are LIUNA.
The construction industry in Indiana has depended on Quality Supply and Tool, a local family-owned business, to deliver quality sales and service over the last 25 years. The employees make the difference, like sales expert Nick Worley.
What sets us apart is we only offer quality tools and supplies from quality manufacturers. We have a quality trained sales and service staff knowledgeable of the products we sell and offer. Quality. It's in our name.
On South Harding Street in Indy, plus Jeffersonville, Bloomington, and Lafayette, Quality Supply and Tool thinks outside the box. Store.
I was driving to my sister's house, and it happened just like that. The guy apparently had been on the phone and just wasn't paying attention. I got 2 bars and 6 screws in my neck now. For the 6-day hospital stay and the 2 surgeries was over $300,000. I just had my husband call Hensley right away. They took care of everything. It definitely happens. So just hire Hensley.
Hey, it's Marco Andretti. When you hit the pump, make a better choice for your wallet and the environment. Fuel up with an Indiana corn ethanol blend. Unleaded 88 contains up to 15% ethanol and can be used in virtually every car, while that yellow cap or Flex Fuel logo means you can grab the E85 pump. No matter which one you choose, you are lowering the greenhouse gas emissions and your bill to fill. So next time you get to empty, choose an ethanol blend for your refill. Find a station at incornandsoy.org/ethanol. This message is brought to you by Indiana's corn farmers and their checkoff.
What is 988? It's a way forward. It's a listening ear. It's whatever help you need when you need it. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline offers trained crisis specialists ready to talk to you 24/7. If you or someone you love is experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis in their life, call or text 988. Want more information? Visit 988indiana.org.
Just in time for Memorial Day at Sullivan Hardware and Garden, see their great selection of grills, Weber, Traeger, and Napoleon, along with the Big Green Egg, plus Gosney pizza ovens.
Every day deserves sunlight. Sunlight Cream Ale from Sun King Brewery is the perfect local beer for any occasion. Smooth, refreshing, and brewed for moments big and small. Check out sunKingBrewing.com.
Your Indiana Farm Bureau insurance agent is here to help guide you through the process, so you don't have to go it alone. Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Let's insurance together.
Post-race coverage of the 109th running of the Indianapolis 500 is brought to you by Quality Supply and Tool in Indianapolis, Bloomington, Jeffersonville, and Lafayette. QualitySupplyandTool.com. Think outside the box. Store.
Continuing on from the Hensley Legal Group Race Command Center on 93 WIBC. Greg Rakestraw, Kurt Darling, and John Herrick with you. An extended hour again. We were supposed to be here today, just not for this hour. Race got delayed by about 35, 40 minutes by just light rain at the start. We had another yellow for some moisture on the track. Although the yellows were crashed, we've kind of been recapping those in this portion of the race broadcast. So that's the reason why you get us until 8 o'clock on WIBC. Looking for Pacers basketball, 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. Pacers Radio Network, the Elevance Health Radio Network coverage begins for them officially at 7:30. One other car that did not finish or was not running at the end, and this car, when he came to the pits, was leading and did not set foot on the track again. Ryan Hunter-Reay led the second most laps today with 48. Kurt, you made a good point during the break. The 2 lap leaders today were guys that drive this their only race of the year. Kumasato 51, Ryan Hunter-Reay 48. Ryan was kind enough to join us on the show last Sunday, and we were all kind of getting lined up saying, hey, let's start looking at one-offs that have won, now being a 2-time winner, etc. Got to the pit box. We thought it was a stall. It was terminal. Ryan Hunter-Reay goes from first to finishing in 24th.
It was a hybrid issue, and that's the thing we haven't really talked about today is the hybrid and how this is the first Indianapolis 500 where we have had hybrid engines. Well, that was where we saw a case where it really kind of bit Ryan Hunter-Reay, where he stalled the engine and then was not able to get it refired, and it ended up being mechanical because of the hybrid. And so you really feel for Ryan Hunter-Reay, because he was on the second of the three strategies that we had play out today, and it was literally playing out in his hands. Both he and David Malukas were really looking strong and in position to get a win, especially Ryan Hunter-Reay, who's looking for his second Indianapolis 500 after winning it in 2014. But still, you feel for Ryan Hunter-Reay and even Dreyer and Reinbold Racing, too, who have not run a full season since 2012. They've been running the Indianapolis 500 pretty much exclusively ever since then. And so, yeah, it's a tough way to end the race for Ryan Hunter-Reay. 48 laps led today, and you hate to see it.
All right, scroll down that box from Wood, because, again, we mentioned this, 99 laps led by guys running just this race. Ed Carpenter was another guy that led a lap. That would be 100. So literally half of the laps run today were run by guys that are running this race, and that's it this season. That would be State's Exhibit A as to why you can be a one-off driver and win this race. But I feel this more and more, John, every year, and especially because of the depth of the field. 27 cars, now they're full-time entries. Obviously, Jacob Abel didn't make the race. It was 26 today. But I think, and thank you, I didn't catch that. He's full-time in the series as a driver. Scott Johnson's voice is heard by the three of us and not by you out there. But he's always the voice of reason in our ears. And he goes, hey, Jack Harvey actually led 3 laps today as well. So you're right. Hollywood Harvey, as he's now known, 103 laps led by guys that are just running this race, period. So, again, that tells you, hey, this, you could do it. But, John, I just, every year I go, I'm not sure there's really room or they're going to be serious contenders, those one-off cars. What say you?
Well, I think if you're going to be a serious contender, the way it feels like to me is that you're going to have to be a former Indy 500 winner or somebody who's done it. If it's going to work, because I don't think it's an accident that he and Sato led a combined 99 laps between the two of them. Sato's been there, done it before. He qualified well. Ryan Hunter-Reay didn't qualify the way he wanted to, but I've watched enough of these races over the years to know that when you start seeing people in the field drop like flies, and you have experienced guys that are still in it, while, let's say, other guys who aren't as experienced get out of the field because of a pit problem or a crash, and you've got Ryan Hunter-Reay, and you've got Joseph Newgarden still in it, and you've got Will Power still in it, or someone like that, you have a feeling that those guys are going to work their way up the field. But I do think you're on the whole correct about you're going to need to run this in the series if you're going to be consistent, because it is a grind. And if you are going to win the race, I think it's almost better to be a part of the grind so that you get used to and be ready for this kind of race, because it's not just today, Greg. As you know, it's an entire month-long process, and it's just harder to do if you're a one-off. And if you're going to do it, you got to be like Ryan Hunter-Reay or Takuma Sato and have won this race before.
Scott Dixon finished 2 laps down. We touched on him briefly. We just mentioned Jack Harvey. Again, in pit cycles and strategy, he was leading for a little bit. He finished a lap down. Marcus Armstrong finished a lap down. Because of a crash, Nolan Siegel finished a lap down. Colton Herta, Ed Carpenter, Will Power, Graham Rahal, Marcus Armstrong, all were really kind of off the lead lap for a good chunk of the day. 15 cars finished running on the lead lap. Let's start kind of working our way forward to this group before we get to our next time out. First of all, the 2 teammates that got a lot of airtime despite not running for the race win, but they had an impact. And again, I understand why it played out the way they did. Devlin DeFrancesco and Louis Foster. And Louis Foster ends up being the highest finishing rookie in today's race at spot number 15. Again, their cars were in front of the front pack for a better part of the last 30 laps. They were fighting to stay on the lead lap. Again, I have zero problem, John, with them not just making way, because if a caution happened all of a sudden, they get the wave around. Maybe they're not in contention, but they can potentially pass some cars. I had zero problems with 30 or 40.
Yeah, and to your point, it's also an ego thing. It's like, I'm not going to let you pass me and lap me. Like, if I can avoid it, it's just, you're not going to let that happen. And And, Louis Foster's got to feel great about this because he qualified 20th and he finished 5 spots ahead of where he qualified. And let's not mistake this. He also was, I think, near the top 10 and I think even in the top 10 a couple times before we had pit cycles run through and everything else. So Louis Foster has to feel great about the run he had. He also had 8 pit stops when most of these other guys had 5 or 6. So he's got to feel really great about the way things transpired for him.
A couple of those because of some pit speeding violations. So some of that was issues that he constructed of his own accord. That leaves us 13 drivers that finished on the lead lap. Will we spend a lot of time talking about all of them? No. Are there storylines for some of them? Yes, including the guy that finished 13th, who just completed his 25th Indianapolis 500, which is the 4th most in the history of the event. We'll talk about Elio when we come back with you about one more half hour. Continued post-race coverage on 93 WIBC.
Dear driver, thank you. Thank you for slowing down when you saw the orange cones and road construction signs. My husband is one of those road workers. And today, you saved his life. If you hadn't slowed down, you would have missed that lane change, driven right into the work zone, and you would have killed him. Because you were driving differently. He'll be at our son's Little League game this weekend. He'll be there to walk our daughter down the aisle. He'll be out there tomorrow, making Indiana's roads safer. Thank you.
When driving in a construction zone, be smart, be alert, be in the zone.
This is Kelly Watson, business manager of Labor's Local 1112. Everyone deserves a safe place to work. Do your part in the cone zone. Slow down, save a life. We're all in this together.
A message from Indiana's District Council of Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
I'm David Peterson, CEO of ERMCO, one of the largest and fastest growing contractors in the Midwest. We are currently seeking qualified applicants for construction electricians, system technicians, and experienced construction account managers. At ERMCO, we provide a challenging yet friendly environment where you earn a good wage with great benefits and a solid retirement. Plus, you get the opportunity to work on some of the most interesting projects in Indiana. Learn more at ERMCO.com, a quality connection contractor, quality work, customer connected.
Life-changing discovery should never be left to chance. IU Indianapolis is Indiana's premier urban research university, home to 50 research centers and institutes, which means our students don't just study groundbreaking research, they make their very own breakthroughs from day one. We're here to make the future happen. Bring on tomorrow. IU Indianapolis. Discover what's next at go.iu.edu/breakthrough.
This is Indy. Ready for next May?
Start your engine!
Race to Renew is on. Indy 500 ticket renewals are open for the next 500 hours. Lock in your current seats by June 16th and secure the lowest prices. And be first in line for upgrades. Details at IMS.com. Passion and drama.
Debris everywhere.
History and tradition.
Showtime is now.
This is Indy, where heroes become legends.
Alex Palou wins the 109 Indianapolis 500.
And legends become legendary.
State leaders are calling for cutting-edge infrastructure and new technologies to keep Indiana moving forward. The Indiana union construction industry has been a fundamental catalyst for growth in the Hoosier economy for over 100 years. In partnership with contractors, our industry makes an investment of more than $63 million a year in construction training, with no cost to taxpayers. Through on-the-job training and classroom instruction, our tradesmen and women learn skills and earn degrees, making them the skilled workforce employers count on, and the best value for your next construction project. The Indiana union construction industry. Value on display every day.
This is Lynn Busby with the Indiana Careers and Construction Association. We help students, parents, and educators navigate construction apprenticeship programs. Learn more about careers in the union construction industry at builttosucceed.org. Skilled on principle, union by choice.
BJ Nichols and 6-time IndyCar champion Scott Dixon.
Scott, you know watches and race cars have a lot in common. Both are engineered for precision and built to perform.
Exactly. And when it comes to watches and jewelry, I trust the experts at Reese Nichols to deliver the same excellence I expect from my pit crew.
From race-ready watches to designer jewelry and stunning diamond rings, we've got it all.
And at Reese Nichols, I can count on gifts that will always take the checkered flag.
From start to finish, we've got you covered. Reese Nichols Jewelers, Keystone at the Crossing, Greenwood, and at reesenichols.com.
Just in time for Memorial Day at Sullivan Hardware and Garden, get 30% off all patio furniture, wicker, Berlin Gardens poly, cast aluminum, teak, and more.
Don't miss country music icon Dwight Yoakam with special guest The Mavericks live Thursday, June 5th at Everwise Amphitheater at White River State Park. Tickets at livenation.com. The biggest party on dirt is back at Eldora Speedway July 16th through 19th for the Kings Royal and High Limit Jokers Jackpot. Buy your tickets today at eldoraspeedway.com.
Post-race coverage of the 109th running of the Indianapolis 500 is brought to you by Quality Supply and Tool in Indianapolis, Bloomington, Jeffersonville, and Lafayette. QualitySupplyandTool.com. Think outside the box. Store.
Cannot thank our wonderful engineering staff here on The Fan. Thanks to Ken, thanks to Nick, thanks to Cam, thanks to Pamela, thanks to everybody involved that helped us provide you this wonderful coverage all month long. Thanks to Jack Johnston, our producer of our post-race show. Thanks to Scott Johnston, the brains of the operation. We're about to wrap up what is 14 hours of race day coverage on the Radio 1 family of stations today. But again, our coverage actually began in April. We did 4 weeks of nightly trackside as well of Beyond the Bricks. Obviously, you hear 560 shows that Scotty has produced over the course of the years. Full day of coverage with the Sancio Grand Prix. Multiple hours, well north of 15 hours of programming last weekend when it came to IndyCar qualifying, Fast 12, Fast 6, Last Row, etc. There is no enterprise like this in radio in the nation for a motorsports event, and we are all honored to be a part of it each and every May. We're looking forward to it for 2026 already for episode number 110 of the Indy 500. Again, Alex Palou, your winner of race number 109. He has now won 5 of the 6 races so far this season. If time allows in the next segment of the show, we'll kind of rehash some of that historical conversation, some of the people he is now chasing in terms of saying, hey, can he have the best open-wheel season of all time in this country? The answer is yes, he can. We'll kind of give you who are the markers that he is chasing after. But let's work our way through the field. Kurt, let's go to this. Number 13 was Helio Castroneves. Congratulations to Helio. He has now completed at the age of 50 his 25th Indianapolis 500-mile race. It is the 4th consecutive year where he could not complete the drive for 5. There was a brief time when he kind of worked his way up to about 5th or 6th today. But again, really, he was about a 15th place car most of the day. We've had this conversation about Marco. We've had this conversation about Kyle Larson. There are others we can have this conversation about as well. Do we see Helio back here next year?
Well, the difference between Marco Andretti, of course, and Helio Castroneves is one of them is a team owner.
And that would be Helio.
And that would be Helio, yes, of course.
Ed Carpenter would be in that conversation, too.
Yes, he would. Yes, absolutely. But that being said, for the sake of the comparison, when we talked about this earlier about Marco Andretti, I would be surprised to see him back next year. However, with Helio, I would be surprised not to see him back next year. And the reason why is because, like I said, he is now a minority owner in Meyer Shank Racing, and he has a say in who they field as far as who they're going to look for in their third car. And when you also have that technical partnership with CGR, helping you out as well, you can take that 15th place car that they had this year to possibly make it a contender next year. And so for Helio Castroneves, I think as long as he is willing, able, and is fit to at least get out there and get himself in a car and turn 200 miles, I'd say why not come back for another run at the Drive for 5?
John, thoughts on Helio coming back for a 26 500?
Yeah, I think he's got to do it. I think he's got to try it. And whenever Helio's had the biggest trouble is when he's had one catastrophic mistake or one small mistake that has cost him. The reason that even though, like today, to your point, yes, he did have a 15th place car, but he gave himself a chance because he didn't make any major pit mistakes. He didn't make any major mistakes with his car on the track and hit someone. So if he's able to continue to do that, he's going to be in the contention for Drive for 5, and how could you not go for total immortality at that point?
Let's go to Callum Ilott, 12th place car. Not too bad, again, for the Prema Group to finish on the lead lap of any race, and their first Indianapolis 500 is a good thing. Kurt, I know that some people will go, listen, Schwartzman went from pole to 29th. It wasn't a good day for Prema. They completed their first Indianapolis 500, and they had a car on the lead lap. Given kind of where they have been this season, I think the honor of being on a pole and the other car being 12th, all in all, job well done for the new team.
Well, yeah, you talk about how Robert Schwartzman went from top to bottom. Well, Callum Ilott went from bottom to almost top. Bottom line is this, for Prema Racing, if you're talking about coming in and being a brand new team, we have seen many brand new teams come into this. Able Motorsports a couple of years ago. On top of that, you even had McLaren in their first iteration go at it alone, and they didn't even make the race. For Prema to come in here, their very first time, get the pole, not just a good starting spot, get the pole. That, like I said during our qualifying coverage, the month is gravy at this point. You start on pole, you accomplish something huge for a brand new team, and then you come out here, like you said, Greg, you have one of your two cars go the full 200 miles on the lead lap to finish. And if you're Callum Ilott in particular, you've been a journeyman driver basically ever since you came into this series, both with Juncos, Arrow McLaren, and now being here with Prema, your team that made you who you are, that's kind of vindication for him on a personal level as well. He had a really solid day today.
John, let's go to Takuma Sato. I'm not sure people knew that he had a couple of broken ribs from that incident in April. It wasn't really talked about until kind of on race weekend. The famous phrase, no attack, no chance. He gets a front row starting spot. He leads 51 laps. He was not a factor late in the race. He's 48. But I think, frankly, he did enough here. Again, I think we'll see Taku back next year if he wants to be.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, when he won the race in 2017, that generated a lot of surprise, and people asked, how did he do it? Well, because he's fearless, and he drives like he doesn't care. And it's not, but I don't mean that in a negative way.
Right.
It is like a positive form of reckless abandon that you have to almost drive with, and he clearly has the toughness to not care about driving with broken ribs. And when he led as many laps as he's led today, even in a losing effort, and you're already a two-time Indy 500 winner, why wouldn't you want to come back and try it again next year?
Let's go ahead and get to Connor Daly here as well. And again, Connor, things were looking like, and John, I'll start with you on this. Things were looking like, hey, there is a chance for Connor to win this thing. We were going back to Wilbur Shaw being the last local product to win it back in 1940. Unfortunately, an issue with a tire in his next to last stint of the race. Had to come in early. Still managed to salvage a 10th place finish. Led 13 laps today. Connor had a good race car all month long. I am sure he is bitterly disappointed. But again, to me, another sign that Connor has proven he deserves to race in this series full time. And at some point in time, you keep knocking, you might just get an opportunity to break the door down.
Yeah, and I thought what Jake Query said today on the IMS radio broadcast about think about how loud this place gets whenever Connor Daly is leading.
Yep.
And there were times today where the Indianapolis Motor Speedway was deafening when Connor Daly was was in the lead. And unfortunately for him, we could hear it, and when he was talking on the scanner traffic to his team about the tire, Connor's a smart, knowledgeable guy. When he has that thing go off in his head telling you, I don't have it right now, even if his team's telling him to stay out there, there's a reason he feels that way. And again, it still shows what a quality driver he is to still go in, pit when he didn't want to, fix the issue, and still manage a top 10 finish out of this.
Her thoughts on Connor's month?
You always talk about Connor Daly when you're coming to the Indianapolis 500, whether if he's doing a one-off drive like he was the last couple of years, and now having a really good run with Juncos Hollinger Racing. And so for Connor Daly, it's one of those things where you certainly feel like his time is coming. It's just a matter of when. But still, for Connor Daly, you always expect him to be a factor, and you feel for him with that 10th place finish.
Gateway, Iowa, Nashville. pay attention to those races.
He's an oval racer.
David Malukas has good finishes at Gateway as well. Just a couple, the guys that you saw up front today may have a good chance when we get there. All right. Other guys that we're kind of short on time-wise. Lundgaard 9th, Rasmussen 8th. Good for them. Weren't factors. Kyle Kirkwood made up a lot of positions today. Started 23rd, got to 6th. Was he really a factor in the race? No, but it did as much as anybody else to improve their position. Good on him. Felix Rosenquist 5th, started 5th, finished 5th, was kind of there. Good for Felix. Arms wide open, higher, won. There's all the Creed references for you. Finally, John, we'll go to this. For Pato O'Ward, he was in the fight late again. Again, I'm not sure really how good his car was because it was kind of up and down during the course of the month. But a lot is made of Pato and his popularity. You saw it at the track today. Again, you keep knocking on the door. Second, fourth. Now the last 3 years. At some point in time, the dam's going to burst.
And he hadn't milked a cow. So he knew that he needed to milk a cow to get some of that aura back on his side. He heard that in the press briefing this week. So he goes with the Indiana Dairy Association, milks the cow, and it didn't happen for him today, but that doesn't mean it can't happen for him in the future. And again, he is always consistent. He isn't winning the races that Palou is winning, but he's finishing in the top 5. He's finishing in the top 10, and he's always a factor. And it's kind of building a nice little rivalry back and forth. And he said after today's race, he's like, I got to figure out what Alex Palou is eating. What is his diet? What do I need to figure out that he's got?
When you hear the other drivers and the Sancio Grand Prix post-race show strikes me of this, as does today. When the other drivers are like, hey, listen, this series is all about parity, and that guy right now is doing something that you're not supposed to do. Mm-hmm. It catches everybody's attention. Everybody is almost as literally Alex is walking down the stairs directly in front of us right now. It is something not that we are accustomed to in the IndyCar series, and we will talk about that point, and we'll give you final impressions of the month of May when we come back for a final time. We'll try to wrap up everything that happened. But one dominant theme is this. Your winner is Alex Palou. We have said it all month long. We'll come back and talk about it one final time on 93 WIBC.
Let's talk education. Is your child's school providing them with the knowledge and values they'll need in life? Do you worry about what they may be taught in the hallways and even in the classroom? Do you feel like they're safe when they go to school? What about things other than just academics? Is your child's school supportive of your family's beliefs? Your child is not stuck where they are. You and your child have options. You could get a tuition voucher worth approximately $6,000 to attend a private school. Over 75,000 Indiana kids already have. Many kids excel with the high standards, small class sizes, and more individual attention provided by private schools. Don't settle for something that doesn't feel right. You don't have to choose between your values and their education. Make a choice. Make a change. Visit myschooloptions.org. That's myschooloptions.org.
Paid for by the Institute for Quality Education.
State leaders are calling for cutting-edge infrastructure and new technologies to keep Indiana moving forward. The Indiana union construction industry has been a fundamental catalyst for growth in the Hoosier economy for over 100 years. In partnership with contractors, our industry makes an investment of more than $63 million a year in construction training, with no cost to taxpayers. Through on-the-job training and classroom instruction, our tradesmen and women learn skills and earn degrees, making them the skilled workforce employers count on, and the best value for your next construction project. The Indiana Union Construction Industry. Value on display every day.
This is Lynn Busby with the Indiana Careers in Construction Association. We help students, parents, and educators navigate construction apprenticeship programs. Learn more about careers in the union construction industry at builttosucceed.org. Skilled on principle, union by choice.
I'm Dennis Reinbold for Dryer & Reinbold BMW, Infiniti, and Mini at I-465 in Keystone, and Dryer & Reinbold BMW, Infiniti, Subaru, and Volkswagen at US 31 South in Greenwood. For 56 years, we've been working hard to earn your continued business and grow within our communities we support. That's why we offer competitive lease or purchase options and same-day service appointments for your convenience. See all our great selection of new quality pre-owned vehicles at DryRimble.com.
When you become an iron worker, you accept the challenge to be a different kind of person. One not afraid to step out onto a 12-inch wide beam above the city. One who doesn't blink with sparks flying past their welding mask. One with a certain kind of toughness only the best of the best can achieve. Are you the one? Become an Iron Workers Local 22 apprentice and earn as you learn with great pay, benefits, and education and skills to last a lifetime. Invest in your future at Local 22. More at ironworkers22.com.
In the construction business and can't find what you need? Quality Supply and Tool has served Hoosiers for over a quarter of a century. Tom Hawk is the branch manager of the Indy location on South Harding Street.
We've always been big on keeping our shelves fully stocked of inventory of industrial-grade tools, concrete, masonry products, as well as the necessary accessories to help get the job done. You don't have it, you can't sell it. Our experience allows us to help with getting the pros as well as the weekend pro taken care of.
Quality Supply and Tool also has locations in Bloomington, Lafayette, and Jeffersonville to help you think outside the box. Store.
I was driving to my sister's house, and it happened just like that. The guy apparently had been on the phone and just wasn't paying attention. I got 2 bars and 6 screws in my neck now. For the 6-day hospital stay and the 2 surgeries was over $300,000. I just had my husband call Hensley right away. They took care of everything. It definitely happens. So just hire Hensley.
This is Indy.
Get ready.
Ready for next May?
Start your engine!
Race to Renew is on. Indy 500 ticket renewals are open for the next 500 hours. Lock in your current seats by June 16th and secure the lowest prices. And be first in line for upgrades. Details at IMS.com. Passion and drama.
Debris everywhere.
History and tradition.
Showtime is now.
This is Indy, where heroes become legends.
Alex Palou wins the 109 Indianapolis 500.
And legends become legendary.
Post-race coverage of the 109th running of the Indianapolis 500 is brought to you by Quality Supply and Tool in Indianapolis, Bloomington, Jeffersonville, and Lafayette. QualitySupplyandTool.com. Think outside the box. Store.
We have less than 5 minutes to recap an entire month. We'll do our best to do it on 93 WIBC. Thank you to Jack Johnson. Thank you to Scott Johnson. Thanks to everybody behind the scenes that make sure you get to enjoy this place the way that we do. Greg Rakestraw, Kurt Darling, and John Herrick. Couple of quick things. The helicopter idea was awesome.
That was awesome.
Let's do it. It's kind of scared me a little bit, but let's do that every year. Clearly, everybody loved it and had a great time with it. Going back to Carb Day, Wienerville races are awesome. Let's do that, and let's bring that back again on a regular basis. From Twitter, from Philip. Some include Chip Ganassi with winning his 7th victory because he was a part owner in Emerson Fittipaldi's effort in 89. The list that I kind of go off of, that would have him be actually part of Patrick Racing as it was back then. And then Chip kind of started his own team immediately after that. Started seeing kind of the Ganassi Racing banner in the early 90s. So, yes, there's some good to consider Emmo's win in 89 under Chip's banner. I want to make sure I got that from Philip on Twitter. Back from a couple hours ago, just haven't had a chance to really kind of get to it up until this point. In terms of the Alex Palou greatest season of all time, here are some of the ones we're talking about. A.J. Foyt won 10 and 13, starts in 64. I think Al Sr. won 10 and 71. Both those guys won the 500. Little Al in 94 with one of the most dominant, and we won't say the level of domination in a 500 again. Maybe Juan Pablo in 2000 was close, but because of the differences in engines and chassis, etc., Al was in a race by himself in 94 once M.O. crashed out. But he won 8 times, I think, that season in kart. He is in that mix. Michael in 91, but didn't win the 500, but won 8 times. Mario in 69 won 9 times, and that was his lone 500 win. Those are the ones that are kind of thought of as the best seasons. Now, you have pulled up A.J. Foyt's USAC season, including the 500 in 79. That was 7 races contested at the major level, and that was the first year of the original split. And so the field depth wasn't great at that point in time and didn't win the 500 there. That was Rick Mears' first 500 win back in 79. But that is the company which Palou is keeping. That is what we were talking about. So he's won 5 races. And if he can get to double digits, I would be of the ilk that says you have witnessed the greatest season in the history of the IndyCar series. John, you've got a minute. Final thoughts in the month of May.
I just think it's special to be out here. Whatever you give to the track can give back to you. I think we're seeing that with drivers. I think we see that with everything else. Our good friend, mutual friend Robin Miller's been gone for 3 years, but yet people still go up to his press box space and leave donuts and working man's friend memorabilia because he gave so much to the Speedway. Alex Palou, look at how much he gives to this place and how hard he works, and now he's being rewarded for it. That's my overwhelming feeling. Look at what Doug Bowles gives to this place, and look at what he gets back. That's the big thing I always take away from the Speedway every month of May.
You got 45 seconds, Kurt. Final thoughts on May.
The Indianapolis Motor Speedway never disappoints. Every year this race is held, something special happens. Whether it be, Elio's fourth, or Joseph Newgarden's second in a row, or Alex Palou's fifth win in his first 6 races. There's always something special that happens here at this hallowed ground. And, I feel very privileged to be at least a small part of it and be able to witness it. And it is certainly fun to be a part of. And I can't wait for next year.
Streets of Detroit next week, then a weekend off. A Father's Day night race in St. Louis at Gateway, which will be on Fox. Every race is on Fox, but again, that's a Sunday night oval race for Father's Day. That should be a lot of fun as the series resumes and the chase of Alex Palou continues. I am so fortunate that I get to do so many different things from a sports media perspective in Indianapolis. Few of those things give me goosebumps, nor, frankly, the chance to broadcast to such a large audience as it happens every month of May, and especially on this day. And I look forward to doing it again 11 months and 364 days from now. For John Herrick, Kurt Darling, all the great folks behind the scenes, this is Greg Rakestraw. Good night from the Speedway. Thank you for listening on WIBC.